What the heck, man? If I have music, y'all bitch about the music. And if I don't have music, you tell me that the silence is deafening. So what am I supposed to do? How you doing? Good afternoon, everybody. All right, so we're going to try and stream to Facebook as well. And we will see if the chat widget and all of that stuff ends up functioning properly today. Kathy almost always gets a notification. Cool, cool, cool. Angel wants music. Sing for you. You do not want that. You don't want me to sing, that's for sure. And I don't have a guitar to mediocrely play it for you. Oy vey. Well, we'll see what ends up coming through on the chat. Because, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that every time we stream to Facebook, it ends up breaking everything. So we will see. Now, I do have a unified chat window, okay? And that works fine. Now, but that's just on my end. So I can see all of your comments from all of the platforms I'm streaming to. And I will do my best, folks, to keep up with that stuff. If you have a real pertinent question, do your best to try and hit me up during a commercial break, just so I don't lose track of it. Okay, so that works. So Twitch is going through, YouTube is going through. It looks like Facebook is not. All right, well, I'm not surprised. Facebook hates when you stream to other platforms at the same time. They get super jelly about it. And it's 1 minute until the show starts, and John is not down here to run my board, so this will be interesting. He's pulling a Joe on me today. I mean, there's some news on him, obviously, but yeah, Twitch worked. Facebook's not working. So Facebook comments are not coming through. So we're streaming to Facebook, but their comments are not coming through. So if you're on Facebook, your comments will not show on the video.
And your dentures will be placed at the same time. You won't be without teeth even for 1 day. This can be a life-changing experience, so don't put it off any longer. For a free consultation, call Afdent on Douglas Road in Mishawaka at 277-2220 or visit afdent.com.
On the final phase,
all right,
Studios.
Here we go.
Step to the final phase.
Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Colors already. I haven't even said what I'm talking about yet, John. It's amazing how that works. Anyway, 574-25-95-95.3. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right, so I'm trying it again. I am streaming to YouTube, to Twitch, and to Facebook on my Facebook page. We have discovered that, once again, Facebook is limiting the ability to comment. So here's... For those of you who don't understand, it's not my software. So if you're on Facebook, if that's your preferred platform, you don't want to go to YouTube or you don't want to go to Twitter or Twitch, because you're boycotting them, that's fine. You can still watch the stream. You can even still comment on that video. and I can see your comments through a back-end thing in my dashboard. They just won't show up in the live video as you're watching the video itself, okay? And that is purely because of Facebook. Facebook hates it when you stream to their platform while simultaneously streaming to other platforms. So they had actually tried to break this system many times over the past couple of years in order to prevent people from streaming to Facebook while also streaming to other platforms, because they want you to stream to Facebook or nowhere else, which is ridiculous because most people have audience members in the various social media platforms. And so you're not going to be able, if you're Facebook, you're not going to be able to create a monopoly here, okay? YouTube's too big and Twitch is too big. You will not create a monopoly here. I know that they think that they can, but they cannot. So that's the only thing that doesn't work as far as Facebook is concerned, but I can see your comments. So again, I will do my best to address comments during commercial breaks, but I also have work to do during commercial breaks. So if I miss something that's super important, just keep posting it, okay? I'll do my best to go ahead and get it. And then maybe other listeners will chime in and let you know that, or let me know, I should say, that somebody's trying to get my attention. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. And you can also send a text message to 45364. Also want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Today's Wednesday. Kids shoot free today if you go to Second Amendment Arms and Range. They have to have a shooting parent. So again, go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. All right, this is interesting. Whole bunch of stuff is happening with the marijuana in Michiana. Misdemeanors involving low-level marijuana use and possession would be automatically cleared from Michiganders' records under a bill that will be introduced this week by Senator Jeff Irwin, Democrat of Ann Arbor. And by the way, the governor said that she would be totally open to this. Previously, somebody had asked her and said, well, now that Michigan is legalized recreational marijuana, what about, all of those people who have criminal records now because of it? If it's a legal activity now, should we get rid of their records? Now, generally speaking, the answer to that is you broke the law when it was illegal. You got to deal with those consequences. Now, perhaps employers and the courts and law enforcement will look on this and go, okay, they were convicted of something that's now legal, and so we're going to be lenient. But there's also this avenue of, hey, you know what? Let's do some legislation. Let's say everybody who did something that is now legal, their record is just wiped clean. And we're not going to allow those offenses to show up on their record anymore. The bill would allow roughly 235,000 people to have their misdemeanor records for marijuana use and possession automatically expunged without having to go through the courts. So again, this would be an automatic process. For those of you who are looking at this and saying, well, we're going to have to apply, fill out the paperwork, get an attorney, all of that stuff, and then hope that it goes through, this would be an automatic thing. All right. And a lot of states do this automatic stuff with various criminal offenses and the restoration of rights. I believe Colorado just automatically gives you your rights back after a set period of time when you get out, and they just come back on. You don't have to do anything. So this is along those lines. Okay. So if you have a record in Michigan for misdemeanor marijuana possession and use, it would just automatically go away without you having to put any effort into it. Now, also understand that government record systems are clunky, they're frequently buggy, and a lot of times those records will not get cleared, okay? So you're going to have to follow up and make sure that it does get cleared if this passes and actually goes into effect. We would go in through the Michigan State Police database, make sure that changes to records electronically and administratively without having to go through all of the time and expense of going through the courts. That's what Irwin said. This is so important to a large number of people in Michigan who, when they're applying for jobs or student loans, they're put in a position where their record can affect their future. And that kind of depends. Most of the time, employers ask for felony convictions, usually within a recent period of time. Usually they don't ask for misdemeanors, but it does come up. And there are certain jobs where a full, clean record is necessary. I don't know what this would do. This is an interesting question. I just got this via text message. What would this do for people who want to go into law enforcement now who may have been convicted of this stuff many, many years ago? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I suppose that might end up being department policy. The Michigan bill is similar to action taken in California to clear low-level marijuana crimes after voters approved legalizing weed for recreational use. By the way, is it just me, or does it just seem weird when you read a newspaper and they say weed? I don't know. Maybe it's because growing up, weed was kind of what the younglings were saying. It wasn't something that adults were talking about. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. But in Illinois, the legislature passed a bill earlier this year. In part, will provide an automatic gubernatorial pardon of possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana. Of course, gubernatorial pardon is better than an expungement. Both Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Attorney General Dana Nessel have said that they favor clearing low-level marijuana crimes from people's records. With the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association, which advocates for the industry, they also applauded the bill. Having a marijuana arrest on your record can impact your ability to get a job or even a student loan, said the associate spokesman, Josh Hovey. He's right. Again, depends on the job. This legislation will give back economic opportunities to people who are engaging in what is now a legal activity. Now, there are some who look at this, and by the way, they have an extraordinarily valid point when you talk about ex post facto in the United States of America and what that is. And that's basically retroactive legislation because, there's some interesting stuff here. Typically, we are not allowed to pass retroactive legislation, which means if you are convicted of something when it was illegal, you still have that conviction. Now, again, modern employers think they might look at that and go, well, it's legal in the state now, so it may not be a big deal. We also have to factor in that student loans would be coming from the federal level, and the federal government still deems this to be illegal. So when you wipe away the marijuana conviction in the state of Michigan and you just remove it, well, the federal government might take issue with that because according to the federal government, this is still an illegal activity. And now you have a state kind of playing games with ex post facto in order to open up some citizens who may not qualify for student loans at the federal level to get those student loans. So that could potentially be a problem. And by the way, those complaints, whether you support this or not, are very, very valid. In the U.S., you don't pass retroactive legislation. It violates the ex post facto provisions of the U.S. and every state constitution in the country. So this technically is unconstitutional. Now, it may get challenged on a constitutional level, and the courts might say it will allow it. That's fine. I'm just saying that there is a constitutional question about this because it is retroactive. They did, in fact, break the law when the law was the way that it was. But now the law is different. Let's reverse this a little bit, okay? What if you lived in an era where getting in a duel was perfectly legal and A-okay, and you got into a duel with somebody and you shot them to death, okay? And then a couple of years later, they pass a law and they go, well, you know what? Now we know that everybody alive who's committed a duel, now the dueling is illegal and it's murder. We're going to go back and now charge all of those people with a crime. It's the same exact premise. The only difference is you're wiping the record versus adding the record, but it's the same premise. Now, a lot of people will say it's low-level marijuana versus murder, Casey. What are you talking about? I get you, but dueling used to be a gentleman's way of settling disputes, which rarely ended in somebody dying. But you used to be able to shoot somebody. And that was, as long as a mutual combat situation, it was a perfectly acceptable way to problem solve. And by the way, they kept people a little bit more polite. If you ask me, I wish we would bring it back, but go figure. I'll deal with the people challenging people to fights, and then people accepting, and then the people who issued the challenge running away and not actually doing the fight. I'll continue to deal with that. Talking about celebrities, by the way. So it's kind of interesting to see that this is happening. And what, by the way, I think I philosophically support this. Intellectually, it's hard to, because there is a constitutional argument there, and they did, in fact, break the law when the law was written the way that it was, and there's still this federal component that we have to factor in when we're talking about student loans. So there's a lot to this issue. It is not an easy issue to resolve, but it is something that will be coming up a lot in Michigan. And I'm going to talk about Indiana now. Read an article today. Turns out somebody other than me discovered that Indiana is surrounded by pot-friendly states. Who would have thought? I wonder what that's going to do to us. Anyway, we got more of that coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Keeping you connected with breaking news on the radio at 95.3 FM and online at 953mnc.com.
Oh, man. You know why this is a good afternoon? This right here. First of all, it's an amazing coffee cup. Second of all, it has my Black Rifle coffee in it. That's right. I am consuming my Liberty Blend right now. Got me 4 bags yesterday on my way home, including my favorite from them, which is Gunship. I am a happy camper. And actually, I think that they caught my the 2 bags that they were going to send to my old address. I think they caught it. And they're going to put it in the right mailbox this time. So that'll be cool. All right. And Al's got a very good point. And by the way, Michigan's law covers this. So if you are going to work for an employer that requires you to be marijuana free, you still have to be marijuana free. Okay. The marijuana law in Michigan that was passed does not take away an employer's right to deny their employees recreational marijuana use. So if you work for somebody that has a zero tolerance drug policy that covers marijuana, you will not be able to smoke marijuana or consume marijuana, however you do it, and still work for that place without getting in trouble. And you are not protected by the law. The law specifically protects an employer's right to fire you. What's funny? You're working at a legal weed farm in Michigan today. How about that, Maverick? That's funny. That is funny, man. Send pictures. Happy. Of course you need to try that coffee. I can get you a coupon code if you want. I can log in and just post it in the chat, and anybody can use my coupon code and get you a nice little discount on a bag. I can't get you a discount on the subscription, but I can get you the discount on a bag or the K-Cups if you want. Here, let me just go ahead and pull up the coupon code for everybody, and I will throw it in the stream. How about that? Shouldn't take me too long to do. I have not had the thin blue line one yet. I don't think that they put that in their subscription service. Let me just log in here. They always hide it too, so I've got to like find the damn thing. All right, get up to $10. Here we go. All right. Once a friend makes a one-time purchase, I get $5. If you join the club, I get, oh, okay, so it does work for the club now. I get $10. So you will get 20% off your first order, and you'll get 10% off when you join, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just do the link. I'm going to copy the link here. I'm going to put it on Twitch, all right? So there you go. Use that link right there, folks, and you will get 20% off your first purchase. If you sign up for Coffee Club, you'll get 10% off, and then I get a little scratch, too, that goes towards my account, but it ain't that much. Mostly, I just want to give the gift of good coffee to everybody. You're not even, oh, you can't even tell me where it's at? Yeah, they're still protected. I've got a buddy who's in the, not the farming aspect, but turning it into oil aspect, the processing of it. And he's told me some things about what they have to do and all of that. So maybe don't take a picture because it might have geolocation on there. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did win the Christmas one from me. That was good. And that's not even nearly one of their best ones, by the way.
Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend
all right, so anyway.
Every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxitril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids.
I'm just putting this up there as a reminder, just in case anybody sees it and they're wondering what in the world that is.
Call 1-800-551-4182. That's 800-551-4182.
No, just copy it because I can't give you a clickable link on YouTube anyway. But you can see the URL, so just copy the URL, and that will work for you, okay? On Twitch, it's clickable, but it'll work on anything.
To get one?
Sorry, YouTube's a little weird with that stuff.
I can't figure out how to get there.
You can get there.
I do love my Kona.
Next Level Jobs program. You can get the free job training you need to take your life to the next
I love a good, real Kona coffee, and you will rarely find me drink something besides that if I have it available from Hawaii. That was some of the best coffee that I ever had. All right, here we go. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. How would you like to go to the Elkhart County 4-H Fair for free? Well, you can. Text the word fair right now to 45364 for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets. This year, it's Echo Smith, REO Speedwagon, Jake Owen, Morgan Wallen, and Home Free with free grandstand seating. Plus, there's the food, the rides, the displays, the fun. Of course, it's the Elkhart County 4-H Fair. I mean, we all know that we love the Elkhart County Fair. And your chance to win a free family 4-pack of tickets right now. Text the word FAIR to 45364 to enter to win. Message and data rates do apply. Good luck from 95.3 MNC. You don't need to put your name in it. You don't need to put your phone number in it. We got your phone number. I promise you that. You're texting it to us. So just the word FAIR right now. Best of luck to everybody. All right, so ran into an article today. Just got done talking about this proposal in Michigan to wipe out 235,000 misdemeanor marijuana convictions in the state for things that are now legal in the state of Michigan. Indiana, nearly landlocked by marijuana-friendly states. Yep, I've been saying that for a long time. It's a syndicated article that's running in the South Bend Tribune. With Indiana now landlocked on three sides by states with some level of legal acceptance of marijuana, police in southern Indiana are dealing with increased flow of the drug from other areas, forcing lawmakers to ponder where the state is headed. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is one thing that I've been saying, especially for those of us here in Michiana. We are right on the border. I've talked with local law enforcement. I've had police chiefs and assistant police chiefs on the program before and talked about how they're enforcing it, and they have creative ways. And by the way, their job is to enforce it. So you can't be mad at them on the Indiana side of the border if they're going to be enforcing the state law. If you want the state law to change, you need to lobby, you need to vote, you need to make phone calls, letter writing campaigns, all of that stuff if you want the law to change. But law enforcement's job in the state of Indiana is to enforce Indiana law. And if you go to Michigan and you buy some marijuana and then you try to sneak on over into the Indiana side of things with your gummies, you're going to get popped, okay? They are going to catch a large number of you based on what they have told me they are planning on doing, all right? So just don't mess with it. Only consume it legally if you consume at all, okay? You have to respect the law. So anyway, Illinois recently became the 11th state, plus the District of Columbia, to legalize medicinal and recreational use of marijuana. By the way, I could not be more happy that D.C. has legalized marijuana. Isn't it interesting that the capital of the country has legalized marijuana and yet the federal government hasn't? But anyway, I like the idea of our politicians being stoned because, frankly, I think it's going to help a lot of them out. So anyway, Ohio, by the way, I mentioned Michigan here, but Ohio is one of 22 states that allow medicinal use only, while Indiana and Kentucky retain laws against any possession of the drug. What this means for Indiana, some law enforcement officers report, is an increasing flow of the drug in various forms: plants, oil, wax, vape pens, infused into new products like edibles, being brought across the border from states where it is legal. Nebraska can tell you a thing or two about this. Nebraska still anti-marijuana, and Nebraska catches a lot of people who love to take their family vacations in Colorado. For the record, Colorado, even though I joke about Colorado being the People's Republic, that stems from a whole host of things that they did many, many years ago with dog breeds. In fact, they were kicking in people's doors and they were taking their dogs and killing their dogs because of the breed. It was a terrible, horrible time in the state's history, but it happened. So I call them the People's Republic of Colorado. Can I say this? It is one of the best states for you to visit and live in. It is so awesome. Colorado is an amazing place. It is certainly one of the most beautiful places. They've just got some crazy folks out there. It's, you know, it is what it is. It's like the Florida of the mountain states. So Colorado, which is a great place to live. A lot of people going to Colorado, and while they're there, of course, they are partaking because it's totally legal, and you can go ahead and do that there. They do that in Las Vegas now too. And then what ends up happening is a couple of them are like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take a couple home. I think Joey would really like a couple of these things. You can try a couple of these gummy bears and take them home. You can't do that, but they do. And you got the cops sitting there in Lincoln, Nebraska, just waiting for you. They already pop everybody who goes through Lincoln, Nebraska anyway. Right, John? Everybody gets popped going through Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm convinced that Lincoln, Nebraska's economy is 80% speeding tickets and 20% corn. 15% corn, 5% strip clubs. I'm convinced of it. That is Lincoln, Nebraska, ladies and gentlemen. Lincoln, Nebraska is not the greatest place in the world. Omaha, I have come to like Omaha from afar. I've never been there, but I watched some moto vloggers in Omaha, and I think Omaha is super pretty. So I want to go there and visit. Lincoln, not so much. I look for ways to avoid Lincoln now because every time I go there, I get nailed. I got stopped for going 3 over the speed limit in Lincoln, Nebraska. 3! No joke. 3! Yeah.
I've been stopped twice in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, one of them was like 6 miles over, but one was 3.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they have zero tolerance.
They know because you're never going to come back there to challenge the ticket because it's Lincoln. And who wants to go to Lincoln?
Zero tolerance in Lincoln means 0 over the speed limit and will tolerate you.
And I had the officers say that exact thing. He says, we have a zero tolerance policy. We do not offer any cushion. Because everywhere else in the country, it's a 5 to 10 mile an hour cushion. Not in Lincoln, Nebraska, ladies and gentlemen. You get nailed. Now, they are kind. They let you pay it online without getting any points on your license. So they've got a nice little racket going there.
Yeah, they smile as they give you the ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I mean, I got pulled out of my car and into the squad car and everything else when we were moving.
The full treatment.
I got the full treatment. Well, that was when we were driving up here when we were moving here. Yeah, it was really funny. I mean, my wife was like, "What in the world is going on?"
Well, you were probably on a watch list.
It's entirely possible. I have been known to harass Nebraska my entire career by saying I don't think it actually exists.
Yeah, the second time I got pulled over, it was, "Oh, you again."
Well, it's because you always get pulled over. I shouldn't joke. I actually did get a ticket in Mishawaka the other day. First time. Actually got one. So thank you, Elkhart County Sheriff's Department. Appreciate that. So my fault, though. Totally my fault. I even pulled over before he lit me up. I knew he was coming for me. Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3. So law enforcement is basically saying, look, we are surrounded, and we're just letting you know we're going to enforce the law, but this is going to cause an increase of marijuana in the state of Indiana. Be prepared for it. And I've told you this before. I mean, it just goes without saying. If you talk to Nebraska, they can tell you all about the people who legally purchase and consume in Colorado and then try to bring it home. And by the way, a lot of them are trying to bring it home to states where it's now legal, but you can't. You can't transport that through interstate. So it's a huge issue. And it's going to be a very interesting task for law enforcement to tackle, especially for law enforcement like in Elkhart, where they're right there on the border with Michigan. Then, of course, you got South Bend right there on the border with Michigan. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that happens. But just don't do it, okay? If you know somebody in Michigan and you can legally go to their house and maybe partake if you wanted to, do it that way. Don't break the law and bring the stuff back into the state of Indiana, please. Do yourself a favor and everybody else. 574-25-95-95-3. With that said, I do think in a few years' time, there's going to be a couple of politicians going, have you seen how much money that Michigan's making from this thing? I think Michigan's going to get those hoverboards that we talked about the other day, John. We're going to have so much money in Michigan that nobody's going to even have a car. They're all going to have hoverboards like that French dude. And it's just, it's going to be one of those things. So then Indiana's going to be super jelly. But Michigan roads will continue to collapse because now everybody will have a hoverboard. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Thank you, Happy. I remembered, but is Blue with us? I don't think Blue is with us yet.
This afternoon, another hot stretch of weather around Michiana, and it's hot enough that if you
all right, so I'm just going to post the message here.
Officials are saying you probably shouldn't be outside. Mishawaka Fire Captain Bucky Linson on Michiana's Morning News said that conditions will be very dangerous over the next couple of days, so making sure you are hydrated is vital.
All right.
But if you're sick,
so I left a message on Twitch for Blue because I really, really want to wish her daughter a birthday. I feel so bad that I didn't get to it because of that traffic yesterday.
75 degrees with a heat index over 100. That's a pretty good sign that something's going wrong. You need to get inside immediately. If you start to feel sick, dizzy, upset stomach.
No, you can't transport across the state lines because you're going through a federal apparatus. So interstate
some water in it.
commerce of marijuana is a no-go. This was, by the way, how it was for automatic knives for a long time too, where even if you were buying from a state where it was legal and they were selling it from a state that was legal, it couldn't cross interstate. So you cannot do that with airlines. Basically, you have to consume it where you buy it.
70-year-old Robert Virgil Frisbee of Union crossed the center line and hit a truck driven by a 19-year-old Edwardsburg man. Frisbee died at the scene. His female passenger, 60-year-old Renee Sterling of Union, died at the hospital. The driver of the truck that was hit suffered
the speed limit between cars and trucks, yeah.
Who was a passenger in that truck was treated for a broken femur. And it's National Hot
Yep,
Dog
kicked
Day
him out of the
today.
F-35 program. Going to chit-chat about that today.
Are offering special deals today.
About dang time. Wow, John. Way to go. Why don't you just run my board like a rookie? Uh-huh. All right, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab some hot water, folks.
Ross contends some documents are protected.
You don't need to screw Fox. Fox can screw itself.
Dinner at Halliburton House, Republican Kevin McCarthy says feels like Groundhog Day.
Because once we get done with this, we'll debate impeachment for the third time.
House Democrat Elijah Cummings disagrees.
What we are doing today is trying again to protect the integrity of this House and protect the integrity of the census.
No remorse from a drug kingpin. Lawyers for Joaquin El Chapo Guzman planning to appeal the life sentence handed down. This is Fox News.
Weather sponsored by
The Prime Table Kid. Cool off from the summer heat. Skip the drive-thru. Stop in and try our new iced coffees.
Boy, do I have something to show you all. Can you turn this down for me, pretty please?
A mix of sun and clouds today with temperatures warm.
John!
90 degrees for a daytime
Okay.
high.
I just wanted to make sure you heard me. Can you turn this down for me a little bit? Thank you. All right.
I'm going to take a phone call. I'm going to leave the room. It could get heated.
Could get heated.
Hi, it's John.
Let me show you guys something. So, okay, this is that new product I was telling you guys about. Boom, right there, okay? This is a new tactical pen that just hit the market, and it is awesome. So, I know you guys probably can't see that, but you just twist it to have the pen come out. It writes super, super smooth. Of course, tactical pens are used for self-defense, and, you know, they're pressure point tools and things like that. It's from Cobra Tech, who many of you know Cobra Tech makes some pretty good automatic knives that I sell. But the thing about this is this. Oh my God. Yes. Dual action out the front automatic freaking knife. Yes. This makes me an extremely happy person. I cannot tell you how much I freaking love this pen. So, I saw these, and I've been contemplating becoming a full dealer for Cobra Tech anyway, because I really do like their products, and I think that they provide a good product, especially for the price point for somebody who's trying to get an automatic knife that isn't, a $10 going to break apart on me. So, especially out the front automatic knives. And then they had these, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I am all about this. First of all, everybody should have a tactical pen. I firmly believe that because it's a great self-defense tool. Yes, it has a safety, so you just kind of twist it right there, and then it won't deploy. So there is a safety on there. But yeah, the clip is the friggin' deployment button. How sweet is this? And it's actually really sharp. I cut open my coffee with it, and it's not as sharp as, a real knife would be, but it's still sharper than most of the cheap little $10 knives that you're going to get are going to do. So it actually cut through some paper pretty good. And I'm going to make it, of course, a little bit sharper. But, man, this is a sweet pen. So I bought a couple of them. I'm keeping this one because I just geeked out over it. But I'm going to have a gray one posted on the website. And I might throw one of these up there as well just to go ahead and get a couple of them sold. But, yeah, this is super, super cool. So it will be at asdefense.com, and the action is just so smooth. And most of you know I got started. The first product I sold was pens with hidden knives inside. And usually those are fixed blade, and you just pull the knife out, and you got a little 3-inch blade in there. And you know, they are cool, and they're certainly conversation pieces, and they can save your life. But this is so much better. Wow, love it, absolutely freaking love it. This thing, I'm gonna play with it all night. So again, it'll be at asdefense.com. Little bit later today, probably tonight at some point after I get the kids in bed. I'll get it up there on the website. But yeah, super, super awesome product. And it writes really smooth. And it comes with a refill, by the way. All right. Boop.
Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is
Yeah, don't take it through the TSA. That thing will light up. I wish it had a death ray.
But for this no strings attached free bottle, you must call now.
Al, tactical pens are a must-have.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-394-4915.
Blue's here! Blue!
4915.
Hi, this is Brian Miller with Management, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at
All right, Blue, I'm going to do it on the air. On the air. Cassandra, right? I want to make sure I have everything correct because I was stupid and called her Nicole yesterday.
Drive his SUV there so that way he could bring the tent. And then it was like, remote, what remote? It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'll cure your habit. You're not going to chew on this. I believe it's aircraft grade aluminum. Most of these are.
Yeah.
So.
No, he probably did forget.
What's up, John? How you doing?
Well, it's not a big deal for me. I was supposed to work on the talk show, but we're going to actually record the talk show that afternoon, and then I'll be at the remote. So, okay.
Ooh, dilly dally dally. Hi, Cassandra. How are you? I'm going to wish you a happy birthday, even though I'm a day late. But I had to do traffic yesterday.
I'm here tomorrow and I'm here Friday. So,
sorry about that.
No worries.
All right, we got Cassandra with us.
All righty. Good talking to you.
How old are you? 18?
Okay,
your 18th birthday, correct?
Discover your home's potential each Saturday morning on Measure Twice with Chris Kramer and Joel Kramer with experience.
I'm back.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good.
How was your contentious phone call?
No, it was not contentious. It was all good. There were only 2 cuss words.
Well, that is
and
a
they were
nice
just like
record.
ordinary cuss words, not like hyphenated cuss words where like you put a string of them together. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, mild irritation, but it was nothing I did. So,
wow! You actually didn't do anything wrong.
The final phase, industrial and commercial electric.
There was words we can't say on the air.
This is.
I mean, I assume by the whole them being cuss words.
I'm not going to do that.
What are you doing? You're trying to blow my ears out with that thing? Jeez. Some of us haven't lost all of our hearing yet, John.
Well, the music was playing, and it didn't seem like you were recognizing that it was your turn to talk.
I am busy working.
So I just thought I'd pump up the volume for you.
Good Lord. All right, so here's the deal. I made a boo-boo yesterday. Somebody politely asked me to wish somebody a happy birthday yesterday, and I forgot to do it because we had some traffic updates. It kind of came through late in the show, and we had to do those traffic updates on the toll road, which is an absolute disaster yesterday. And I just ran out of time and I spaced it, so I apologize. So I would like to wish a very happy birthday to Cassandra, who has turned 18 yesterday. She's on the live stream watching on Twitch right now. So Cassandra, happy birthday. And thank you so much for turning your mom onto this program. I'm told that you did that for her, and she has been awesome. So thank you very much for all of that. We do appreciate it. And happy birthday. Planning on voting, she says. She says, I'm planning on voting. Yeah, but who are you voting for? That's the real thing. Because I might take back the birthday wish. But happy birthday and best of luck. And of course, be safe and don't do any of the marijuana in Indiana, please. Okay? Because it's illegal. All right. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. If you go to theburningtruth.us, you will be able to see House Democrats have officially pushed Speaker Pelosi to schedule a vote considering articles of impeachment. Oh boy, here we go. Vote will take place today. Of course, it's spearheaded by Democrat Al Green, who's really doing nothing in Congress other than trying to get the president impeached. That is entirely what he does. Honestly, I don't know that he does anything else, to be perfectly honest with you. So anyway, here's what we have. We've got the possibility. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to actually file an impeachment, okay? Very, very important. So the House will vote on Wednesday on a resolution to impeach President Donald Trump, making the first time the Democrat-controlled chamber has weighed in on the divisive issue. It is unclear whether the House will vote to send the resolution to committee, to table it, effectively killing the measure, or vote to proceed forward with it. To my knowledge, it hasn't happened yet, but maybe it has, and I just haven't got the news. We should be clear in pointing out that this is not a vote for impeachment. It is a procedural step in the process, and the members can either vote to send the resolution to committee, where it'll likely never see the light of day. If you send something like this to committee, it'll probably just get put in the shelf and start gathering dust. Or they can actually proceed and go with debate, possibly even vote to impeach the president. So this is purely a procedural thing. So the idea is, okay, we have this motion to impeach. Do we send it to committee for further debate where most things go to die, or do we actually want to move forward with this and debate this on the floor? And then if we debate it on the floor, there will be potentially a vote, and it'll be a whole thing. So that's kind of what this is. So any of you go to hotter.com. Is this anything more than a show of good faith by Pelosi so she can say, hey, at least I tried? The House isn't in a situation where they're only concerned with whether or not any Republican will vote for this. Odds are they might pick up 3 or 4 GOP nods, as they did on the vote condemning Trump's tweets. And let's not forget, Representative Amash is still out there saying that the president should be impeached. But it's in no way clear if they have enough Democrats ready to head down this road. Now, here's the thing. And when I posted this on the website, I did an LOL on it, because this is one of the worst strategies the Democrats could possibly think of coming into the election. Now, I know that a lot of you feral unhinged types really want this to happen. The American people don't. In fact, the polling is crystal clear on this. The overwhelming majority of American people do not want impeachment to go forward, nor is there anything impeachable. That's the thing. Now, many years ago, I wrote an article called Impeachment Chic, which is mostly focused on local races, statewide races, things like that, because everybody was just trying to get somebody they didn't like who won an election impeached every time they did something that violated their conscience and they didn't like it. There wasn't anything actually illegal. So this goes back a good 10, 11, 12 years. We have people have been just randomly, because they don't like somebody, wanting to impeach them. That's not how impeachment works. Impeachment isn't something that you go out there and do just because you don't like somebody's politics. There has to be an actual criminal offense here, and Trump doesn't have any. I got news for you. And saying mean things about politicians or members of the media or anything like that is not an impeachable offense. So even if they were to go forward with this, the vast majority of the country rejects it because they know there's no cause for impeachment here. And then the Democrats are going to be going into 2020 having done something dramatically silly, which would, of course, inflame Trump's base and anger a lot of people who even may not be on his side necessarily, who know that the Democrats are just out of their minds with this type of stuff. So this is a terrible, terrible strategy. If I were to guess, it would go into committee and die, but that's just my guess. We'll have to ultimately see on this thing. But this is not a wise decision at all in any way, shape, or form. Speaking of Representative Amash, he's being quoted in a new book. I'll tell you about that coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve the tables for your next gathering.
Now, home comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals' 5-day forecast.
A mix of sun and clouds today with temperatures heating up to 90.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Still have a chance for an isolated shower, but most of the day will.
Oh, that is so funny.
Thursday getting upwards of 93 degrees and feeling like it's near 100. With that heat index in the triple digits, we'll have a chance for a shower and storm early in the morning. Could be on the stronger side.
I got a couple traffic alerts.
Do you? Are you doing them right now? You're going to do them live? Bleep it! Do it live!
We'll
You gotta do that?
plenty of
Yeah.
sunshine, but just as hot and
That's
humid
so
for Saturday.
old.
I know, but it's still good.
So make sure you're limiting time
It's fun.
outside and drinking plenty of water.
Stand by.
These temperatures right around 89 with storms for Sunday.
Waiting for her to stop
From
telling me to be weather
87
aware.
Morning Neighborhood Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Emily.
At 3:49, 295.3 MNC traffic alerts to pass along for drivers in Elkhart County on County Road 17. Be aware of slowing traffic on 17 at County Road 10 and also 120. This due to some flashing traffic lights that has traffic blocked right now on 20, especially northbound at 120. Excuse me, traffic backed up on 17. And if you're driving on the westbound US 20 bypass right now, be aware that in Mishawaka, there was a crash. The crash actually in South Bend, and that is just east of the Ironwood exit, but that has traffic backed up all the way to east of the exit for Bremen Highway. If you'd like traffic alerts direct to your cell phone, text the word news to 45364. That's news to 45364. Message and data rates apply.
95.3 MNC is everywhere. On the radio at 95.3 FM. Playing online at 95.3
All right.
MNC.com. In the palm of your hand when you download the MNC app.
Look at that behind the scenes content of Mr. Zimney giving you traffic updates.
I flubbed.
And now, on the
It's because you did it live.
And then I had to say message and data rates apply.
Brian Kilmeade, Rush Limbaugh,
Because if I don't, that'll be the time.
What a
we get
silly
sued.
legal disclaimer that
I
is.
know, it's so crazy.
your breaking news and
Then we'll be sued, and then it'll be my fault again.
It'll be the one person who doesn't have unlimited data out there.
I wouldn't say that my job is easy, but what I would say is it's very rewarding.
Yeah, Joe will be back next week.
Inside and out. I will walk you through your vehicle and help you out with some of your paperwork. But at the core of what I do in sales here at Lock Money Motors is help people, make people happy, and just do the right thing every time. Look, if you've dreaded the car buying process or felt uncomfortable buying a vehicle, come see me here at Lock Money Motors.
Surprised they're taking time away from censoring Trump's tweets to impeach.
Lock Money Motors has hundreds of used cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Plus, the best brands of new Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, Buick, and GMC models on the market. Basically, we have it all right here in person or online at lockmoney.com. I'm Shelby Rosenberg. I've been in sales.
You can't
at
see
Lock Money Motors
what
for
on the
3
YouTube chat?
years.
You can't see?
Lock Money Motors, a tradition of carrying since 1954.
Is there something wrong with
Waking
the
up over and over to pee is not okay. But now
The chat on
you can
YouTube?
reduce those nighttime bathroom
Oh, on YouTube, you're not going to see my Twitch
Beta
chats.
prostate P3 advanced.
So you only see
We're
them on the
talking about
screen.
Less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day.
So you won't see them in the chat window. You should only see them on the actual video itself.
Casey, did you do the Face app?
The Face app?
The Face app. What, that shows you what you're going to look like, you know,
No.
as an elderly person?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh.
Why? You want me to?
Well, no, I'm just wondering, because everybody's doing it. And you're always ahead of everybody.
Is that still a thing? I thought that was done with like weeks ago.
No, it's still a thing.
Oh.
And like today, I woke up and like everybody was doing it.
Oh, God.
On Facebook.
Okay.
And last night, my wife did it to me.
Oh, you know what was happening before is they were doing it as the gender swap thing.
No,
is
this
what it was.
this is what you look like as an old person.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I haven't done that one.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of accurate. So, like, here's me as an old person.
Yeah, it looks about right.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really
Well,
know.
and I think it's accurate because then she did me as a young person, and this actually, except it looks like I'm wearing makeup, and I look a little Justin Bieber-y.
Well,
but
yeah,
this
they're
is kinda
smooth
what
skinning
I did
it.
look like as a young person.
Ha 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 ha! That's funny.
I know. Yeah.
So, Mom?
I look like a little F-boy.
They're showing up on the video before the chat. Weird. I've been posting on Twitch, so I haven't been posting on YouTube.
Work easier and more economical. Our experienced team members will work with you to find the versatile track.
Casey, will I be able to see you at the studio Friday after 5 to hand you the jerky? No. Not this Friday.
So we've got some office stuff happening, so the building will be closed. Tomorrow works, or I would recommend Monday. Friday will be a no good day for us.
Rain Drain. Rain Drain is your local dealer for the amazing leaf guard.
But I'm looking forward to the jerky, like hardcore.
Seamless one-piece leaf protection system on the market today. It's a patented system that's built to stay clog-free, guaranteed. Or Rain Drain will clean your gutters for free. To learn more, call Rain Drain at 888-611-RAIN or visit them at Rain.
Yeah, Friday no bueno. Thursday's perfect, Mike. I will be here tomorrow. You hop right on in, and I will try and remember to let Taylor know that a non-terrorist is coming to give me stuff. Taylor really enjoyed the out-the-front automatic knife blade. She's like, ooh, a pen with a knife in it. I could use that. Some of the people that come into this building.
Did you give her one?
No. It's not cheap enough for that. You weren't in here. You didn't see it.
I have one.
No. This is brand new.
Oh, I want to see that later.
Yeah, I know you do. Everybody does. I want to see it again. All right, here we go. Oh, that squad video is hysterical. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. So here's the deal. I am running it's not a contest, it's a goal. So my YouTube channel is just under 2,000. I got 103 to go. And if we can get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of July, I will give something away. Okay? So if you go to youtube.com/Casey the host, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel there. Here's the best part. It's free. I mean, it's, big deal. So you subscribe to it. If you watch the videos, you watch the videos. If you don't watch the videos, you don't watch the videos, but it still helps me out. So go to youtube.com/Casey the host. All right. Of course, we're live streaming there right now, and click on that subscribe button. Also, give me a thumbs up if you're watching the video. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, any commenting on videos and things of that nature is going to be really, really helpful. But I'm trying to get to 2,000. That's like the first low tier benchmark on YouTube. And then when you get to 5, their algorithm really starts to kind of work for you. 10,000 is where your algorithm kind of kicks into overdrive. And it's interesting when people struggle that first 10,000, they get to 10,000 subs, and then boom, they start getting a ton more. So it's pretty interesting how their algorithm works. So if you get to those benchmarks, it really does help the channel grow, which in turn makes it possible for me to reach more people and irritate YouTube a lot more and irritate liberals a lot more, and also gives me an opportunity to sell space, which gives me an opportunity to give you stuff. So if you could do that, excuse me, I missed my cough button. I tried to press it, but I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. That would really, really help. So again, the goal for July is to get to 2,000 subscribers. We're at 1,897 right now, so we're almost there. We got 13 days to go, and if you could help me, I would really appreciate that. Okay, Representative Amash, who is now an independent and is no longer considered a Republican. Representative Amash is being quoted in a new book, and he says that Republicans who are defending Trump are, quote, hurting themselves and they're hurting the country. Well, I mean, there's a lot that I could say about that. I don't have a lot of time. And like I said, this sucks for me because I like Representative Amash quite a bit. And he's just, I think he's gone off of the deep end because of family businesses that are dealing with tariff issues with China right now. His family business is in China. They've been in China for a long time. They deal with Chinese steel, and that's been the biggest industry that's been hit by the tariffs. And so he's, I think, dealt with a lot of financial issues as a result of that. Not that he is struggling or anything. I'm just saying the family business, I'm sure, has been hit with the nickel and dime department as a result of these tariffs because of China. In a new book, Representative Amash, independent from Michigan, the libertarian-leaning former Republican lawmaker who left the party earlier this month, says that contemporary Republican Party is full of liars. First of all politics are full of liars. So there's that. He says,
talking about Republicans, they believe in a cosmic battle between the right and the left, good and evil, and they think any criticism of Trump is helping the other side. I don't know a lot of people like that. To be perfectly honest with you, I really don't know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people are willing to criticize the president when he actually does something wrong. Again, the whole God Emperor thing is a joke. It is a play off of the Messiah stuff that we saw with Obama. That's the whole point of the God Emperor memes. It's a complete joke. Nobody actually, that I'm aware of, actually believes in any of that. But see, the point is, I wish that I didn't have to come on here and constantly defend the president on a whole host of things, because frankly, there's a lot of things that he's doing that I would like to take issue with, and I do take issue with them, but it doesn't take up nearly as much time as talking about, well, I don't know, the squad fabricating a bunch of lies about the president and the Border Patrol and the military and the country in general the other day on television. And again, demonstrable lies that are easy to debunk, and yet they're still saying it and people are still buying into it. That's the thing that is the most irritating. For example, when Representative Amash goes out there and says, hey, that tweet was racist. There was nothing racist about the tweet thread if you read all 3 tweets. Now, if you read that one sentence, yeah, you could totally take it out of context, but that's your problem. That's not the president's problem. And then when he says that the president has committed impeachable crimes, there is no evidence of the president committing any impeachable crimes. And then he cited the Mueller report incorrectly, by the way, on a tweet storm that he went on, which I had to look. I'm like, none of this is accurate. If you read the Mueller report, none of what he was saying was accurate at all. So what the problem is that it's not that everybody is out there in saying that they have to defend Trump no matter what, because if they don't, they're protecting liberals and Democrats and things like that. The problem is that the vast majority of the criticism against Trump in the public forum right now is asinine crap, including the stuff coming out of the mouth of Representative Amash. That's the issue. And so when he runs around and says Republicans are damaging the country, no, lies about the president are damaging the country. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC-FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
Campaign case closed. I'm Dennison, Fox News. Federal prosecutors say the investigation into campaign finance violation by President Trump.
Let me turn the volume down for you.
Was that?
Let me turn the volume down.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you
down.
so freaking much. My alert notification went off again. All right. What do we have here? I got a series of subscribers I have to thank. Douglas, Clem Kurg, Andy, and Marine all up in you. Thank you very much for the subscriptions on YouTube. I appreciate you answering the call. You're all stellarly awesome people. All right. What else do we have here? Doop. Doop. If only people had listened to a certain radio host about Turkey, about 8 years ago. It's getting a little irritating being right about stuff and people not believing me, to be perfectly honest.
On a daily basis, the homeless in West Palm Beach are flocking to a city park to sleep for the night. And now the city's Parks and Recreation Department is trying a new method to keep them away with this. Yes,
Wait.
Children's songs like Baby
So they're not doing the high-pitched thing, they're playing children's songs.
on a continuous loop. The department's director tells the Palm Beach Post they don't want people camping out near the park's Lake Pavilion, which is used for numerous events that generate tens of thousands of dollars per year. One homeless man tells the Post that the city's musical tax...
Wow, that's a lot more subs that hit that didn't come through on my stats. So that's really cool. Okay, now, as an aside, though, weren't we told that playing music on a continuous loop was actually a violation of the Geneva Conventions and was a form of torture? So aren't they technically torturing homeless people?
Yeah.
Now, the high-pitched noise I can get behind. Ooh, 1914. That's a pretty big surge. I don't have that many people listed on my subscription thing here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find. Nope, I got Brian subscribing yesterday. Yeah, it doesn't nearly have that many people listed on my subscriptions. Heroes has cheered. Thank you very much, Heroes, on Twitch. I do appreciate that. Thank you much. So I've got a little dashboard here who should show me all of my alerts, but I'm not showing nearly all of the people who did follow. So if I missed you, I do apologize. I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to go by my dashboard here. All right. Did I get the Amash thing in my show prep? Yes, I did. Amash is in the show prep. By the way, updated the look of my website today. Go to theburningtruth.us. I'm still going to tweak it a little bit, but you can check it out. And if you haven't seen, I know some people were talking about it earlier, if you have not seen the squad goals post at theburningtruth.us, you have got to. The video is amazing. The GOP's marketing this election cycle has been phenomenal. They're doing a really good job of it. Let's see. All right, somebody's sending me a text message and asking me about live streaming 3D printing on Twitch. Yes, that is coming. And I know that I said that I might do that last week, but I've been experimenting with some code and things like that on the 3D printer. So while I'm working that out, and then I had to print a couple of things for contract work in between that, which I can't show you, then I will be able to go ahead and do all of that. It's going to come up with something to print, you know. And I'll probably test the first one that I live stream. I'll probably test that print by printing it first, just to make sure that my first print out of the gate isn't spaghetti. So, not that I have an issue with showing spaghetti, because failed prints are funny sometimes, but I want to make sure that that one actually functions so you can get the first live stream print will actually look really nice. And I think I might have to give away Deadpool. As much as I love it, he's just kind of hanging out here. So I might have to give Deadpool away. I still got that really, really awesome Captain America that I did too for you Captain America fans out there. I'm really not, but yeah. So these came out really good, and then of course I've got the Kofifi desktop pen holder. Let's see if I can get this out here. I mean, I can print these bad boys as well. And those are cool. Those actually came out good. And the ones that I'm printing now look better than this one. So that's my pen holder.
This is Stacy on her motorcycle. What an incredible view!
And this is Stacy off her motorcycle.
Does this have sucralose in it?
On her motorcycle.
Oh,
Stacy off of her motorcycle. Does this have sucralose in it? I actually saw the obituary for Jerry today. That sucked. Didn't want to open my browser and see that first thing. No, scam likely. I am not interested in talking to you.
First step to the final phase. Industrial and commercial electrical done right.
All right.
Ouch. Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel.
There isn't a good Trump statue yet. There's a couple of them that are interesting, but I'm looking for an interesting Trump one. So maybe soon. Maybe soon. All right, here we go.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Also want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, because, again, they are located in New Carlisle, and they are a phenomenal place for you to go visit. And the range is awesome. It's indoors, so if it's too hot outside or it's muggy outside, or even if it's cold outside, really it's a an all seasons range. You're indoors, you don't have to worry about the weather outdoors. They got 10 shooting lanes, rifle and pistol, so you don't even have to go outside for the rifle. I know some ranges do that. Not that anything is wrong with that, but there are certain seasons where that is not conducive to boomstickery. So if you go to secondamendmentarms.net, you get full details. And of course, if you mention me, you get half off your range time. All right. Hey, by the way, huge surge in subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. And we still have a little ways to go. So if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, goal is to hit 2,000 subscribers this month. Go to youtube.com/Casey the Host, where we are live streaming this program. We're also live streaming on twitch.tv/Casey the Host and facebook.com/Casey the Host. All right. Trump has finally done something that I've been telling him to do. I mean, not, face to face or in person or anything, but, through the airwaves, I've been telling him to do. He will not sell the F-35 to Turkey. Good. Okay. I've been warning people about Turkey for a long time. Now, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, when I was in the military and the U.S. and Turkey were very close allies. And the Turkish people are amazing people, by the way. And the Turkish military is a professional force. Their special operations, by the way, are phenomenal. They are really good. They're world-renowned. They do a very, very, very good job, okay? But Turkey is run by a crackpot right now who happens to be sympathetic to jihadists. That's a problem. This is a guy who has, I believe that whole coup thing, that revolution thing was staged. That's just my opinion based on the evidence I saw. And it was a way for him to call anybody who might have been in his government or in education or in the media that might have challenged his reign. So he does this thing. And again, it just, if it was a real revolt or a coup, the Turkish military didn't actually try to do anything because they weren't willing to kill anybody. Which, again, was weird. So it just kind of got quashed early on, didn't make a lot of sense. Just, I don't know, nothing about it seemed right. And Turkey has consistently aided America's enemies in Iraq against America's allies in Iraq and elsewhere, and that's a real problem. Now, with this being, of course, a NATO nation, this is a no bueno situation. So President Trump has announced that the U.S. is going to halt sales of its F-35 stealth fighter jet to Turkey because the country received a new missile defense system from Russia, an exchange that he claims was spurred by actions from the Obama administration. Now, here's the problem. So a lot of you are going, well, what's wrong with an ally buying the best hardware from multiple places? Okay. A lot of times the contracts with these countries that get this hardware from us and from anybody else is that any developments that you make, you have to give back. Now, this is the beauty of the American-Israeli relationship, because the U.S. government develops some really phenomenal pieces of technology, obviously. Through private contractors. And then they give a lot of that technology to Israel. But here's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, that's just charity. It's not, actually. If you know anything about the weapons program and the exchange program with Israel, it's not a charitable endeavor at all. In fact, Israel has to give us each and every update and advancement that they make in any of those systems. So what ends up happening is we give them something, they upgrade it, and we get the technology automatically. So we benefit from somebody else doing the work. And by the way, the Israelis are really good at updating a lot of this stuff. A lot of the blowback armor and things like that we have, we put on older vehicles or under armored vehicles and things like that. Yeah, we got that from Israel. And they had to develop that because they were using old hardware in some of their conflicts in the 70s and 80s. And it's been a phenomenal system and has saved a ton of American lives. So it's a really, really good exchange. But Russia does this too. So if Russia gives Turkey these missile systems, well, Turkey is going to have to develop a way for those missile systems to see all of their aircraft, which includes the F-35, okay? Because they have to be able to track their own aircraft, and they certainly want to make sure that they can shoot their own aircraft out of the sky. God forbid something should happen, like, another coup. So if they develop a way for their systems to be able to see the F-35, which is, of course, one of our best fighters, then they have to give that technology or will give that technology. I don't know what their arrangement is, but the technology is going to get back to the Russians. So then the Russian missile system will now be able to detect the F-35, which is a problem because it's a stealth aircraft. Okay, we don't want the Russians to be able to detect it. That's the whole point. So this is a bad, bad idea. Trump is completely and 100% correct here in saying we're not going to give you our hardware if we're going to run the risk of giving the Russians the ability to defeat our hardware. That does not make any sense. That's Chewbacca. So Trump, speaking during a cabinet meeting yesterday, suggested the U.S. ended up in this scenario as a result of the past president's administration imposing too many conditions for Turkey to purchase the U.S.-made Patriot missile system, an alternative to the Russian S-400 system that they recently obtained. Now, while he has a point, I also kind of understand why the Obama administration wasn't exactly thrilled about giving Turkey the Patriot missile system because, again, Turkey was acting kind of wonky. All right? So I'm not exactly opposed to what the Obama administration was doing, but President Trump is technically right. They wanted the Patriot missile system. They wanted everything to be NATO compatible, and it was becoming difficult. But it was becoming difficult because Erdogan is a crazy person. All right. So now, again, I get what the president is saying, but I also don't blame Obama for putting those restrictions. U.S. officials previously have expressed concerns about Moscow's potential intelligence gathering if Turkey came into possession of both the advanced American aircraft and the Russian missile defense technology, which is, of course, a legitimate concern. Turkey is very good with us, very good, Trump said. And I know that he's trying to do alliance building here, and he's been very tough on Turkey since he came into office, and now he's saying very nice things, and he's trying to get Turkey back on our side. The problem is that Erdogan is a crazy person, as I pointed out. We are now telling Turkey, because you have really been forced to buy another missile system, we're not going to sell you the F-35 fighter jets. Now, I want to point out, I'm not exactly sure of the intricacies here, but he has been president for a couple of years, and would he have been able to relax some of those restrictions and make it easier for them to get the Patriot missile system? Again, not intimately aware of those details, but there is a legitimate question there of, well, if you really wanted them to buy the Patriot system, then why didn't you just make it easier for them to do so? And there's been this wrangling that's been going on with the U.S. and Turkey for the past couple of years, even while he's been president. And then, of course, it goes back into the previous administration. So the decision this week comes after the Department of Defense announced in early April that it suspended deliveries of F-35 fighter jet parts and manuals to Turkey over their purchase of the Russian system, which I lauded as the appropriate measure back then. There is great concern that if they acquire that missile system and have the F-35 airplane, the Russians will have a window into the technology that used to produce the F-30, that is used, sorry, terrible writing here, not my fault, that is used to produce the F-35. That is Senator Shaheen, Democrat from New Hampshire, and she's right, 100%. Let's see, the decision to now call the sales off will impact the Turkish economy as companies based in the Middle East country produce hundreds of parts for the F-35. Basically, what you get is the classified stuff comes from us. Okay, the plane comes from us, but replacement and maintenance parts that are not classified can be produced under license in Turkey. So that's very common arrangement when you do these types of things. So now the S-400 system, which, by the way, appears to have some performance issues in the field based on what we saw in Syria, is considered a Patriot missile competitor, although the Patriot missile system tends to outperform it. But again, I think this is the wise decision. And while I can appreciate what the president is saying, trying to rebuild relations with Turkey, I think he's trying to get them to drop the purchase of the S-400 in order to come back towards the West. We'll see if that actually happens or not, but this is still a good decision to not give them any of these aircraft. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Primetable. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Primetable today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, home comfort experts, your air conditioning.
Ha ha! Trump is talking turkey. That was funny. Thank you so much for the subscription, Jared. I really do appreciate that. That just came through as well. Man, what is it with the alerts? I don't know why the alerts are not working very well. that zombie thing is supposed to go away, but it doesn't. It just kind of hangs out until I turn it off and turn it back on. Let's see if I can fix it.
In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Hood.
All right. Hopefully that helps. Just tweaked it a little bit. Maybe it'll work. I do not know. Oh man. Supposed to put a whole chicken and a big old slab of meat on the smoker before I left, and I forgot. That sucks.
574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as
Now, the real question is, can I explain it via Facebook post enough for my wife to be able to start the smoker?
Oh boy.
So I'm kind of like, do I even attempt it or what?
All right, well, here's the deal on that. If you don't attempt it and you go home, she'll be like, hey, and then you'll say,
and I'm gonna have to cook it tonight anyway.
Well, yeah, and then she'll say, well, why didn't you at least try to let me know? I could have tried. So that way you've done everything you can, and if she can't get it done because she doesn't follow your instructions or whatever, then that's on her. Then she can't.
She did say yesterday that I don't know how to do that, so I don't know. I'll send her a message and ask if she wants instructions on how to do it. How about that? And this will have to happen via phone call, because if I try to do this crap over Facebook Messenger, it's going to be a mess. So, because I have I go to Aldi and they have these massive friggin' slabs of sirloin that when you smoke them for a couple of hours, when you go to pick them up with the thongs, it just falls apart. I mean, it is so friggin' good.
Oh yeah.
And we got a whole chicken for like $2. So, which my 7-year-old was begging me for. I'm like, all right, I'll smoke a whole chicken for you then, I guess. All right, just send her a message. You want instructions on smoking the meat? I have to do it. That's what she said. Have to do it. I have to. I can't not do it. You know what, Al? It's a vertical smoker and it's a charcoal. I don't know what brand it is. So a buddy of mine called me last summer and he goes, dude, do you want a smoker? And I said, who doesn't want a smoker? And he goes, I'm at a garage sale right now, and there is a woman getting rid of 2 like brand new smokers for $10. I said, what? He goes, I know. He goes, I'm going to buy it anyway because I can't not buy a smoker for $5, but I'm also going to buy the other one and I don't need it. So do you want one? And I'm like, yeah. So heck yeah.
When we start back up, you should toss it to me so I can remind people about the bypass.
Read the disclosure statement carefully before investing.
Yeah, I don't have my business membership at Costco. I let it lapse this year. I've got to get it again, because you're right. I mean, I can get a lot of stuff over at Costco.
Independent volume dealer, R&B buys smart so you save money on every vehicle. See for yourself at rvcarcompany.com. No gimmicks, fast and friendly service.
You don't touch it, Ellen. I mean, it's not that difficult. You put the coals in, you light them, right? You put it on top, let everything kind of warm up, and you put the bowl of water on it, and then when the coals die off and there's no more flame, then you put your meat in there and you put the soaked chips on top of the charcoal, and it just doop. It's awesome. She says, do a voice message so I can listen over and over again. Really isn't that hard, I promise. All right, here we go.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. I will try. I just noticed that there's a whole Twitch conversation happening, and some people are asking me some stuff. So I'll try and address, for those of you on Twitch, I'll try and address some of the stuff that you're asking me about here in the next news break. And we are live streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Casey the Host, but we're also on youtube.com/Casey the Host, and we're doing facebook.com/Casey the Host. The only thing that doesn't work on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Facebook comments, when you comment on the video, do not go through to the live video chat widget. And it's a Facebook issue. It's not my software issue. It's just because Facebook kind of sucks and they don't like sharing. So that's kind of what we're at. John, did you want to go ahead and remind everybody about the terrible, horrible traffic conditions that we have going on right now?
Well, there is a crash or something backing up traffic on the westbound US 20 bypass, and the incident happened just east of the Ironwood Road exit. As a result, westbound bypass is backed up right around Bremen Highway heading toward Ironwood Road. And then also there's a slight backup. This appears to be construction related on the bypass, also westbound at State Road 23. So plan some extra minutes if you're driving those stretches of the bypass.
All right, we appreciate those updates. John might be able to weigh in on this, being a boss who has had to have a couple of meetings with me, one or two, about my social media. Fox 10 host who was caught on camera. Now, she's in Phoenix, which also happens to be your old stomping ground. So you know Fox 10 very well.
And I know Kerry Lake very well.
And you know, and I've heard nothing but nice things about her. I've never had the pleasure of actually talking to her, but I've heard nothing but nice things about her. So anyway, she is caught on camera at Fox 10. This is during a commercial break. So she's talking to her coworker, who is Hook. John Hook. Yeah. And apparently the brass over there at Fox 10 told her to not have a social media presence on the social media website Parler, which is where a lot of people who have been banned from Twitter are now going. Because, you know, Gab is okay, don't get me wrong, but Parler is considered a not in your face trying to go to the political right sort of thing. Parler is just considered a social media platform that is a competitor. And so a lot of people are on Parler. And a lot of people who've been banned from Twitter who are conservatives happen to have Parler accounts. So she's on Parler, right? So she's obviously a member of the media. She wants to go ahead and be out there in the social media world. And a lot of us will go to these new platforms just in case one of them takes off. You never know if one of these things is going to take off. But apparently her management didn't like the idea of her having a Parler account and told her not to have one. And apparently the concern was the Phoenix New Times, which is the left-wing outlet in Phoenix, from what I understand, was going to get a hold of it and then attack her for being on a right-wing extremist social media thing. So she basically, she said, F them. This is, again, during a commercial break. So somebody leaked the video now to the public, which should be a violation, and I assume is a violation of their employment contract to be leaking this stuff to the public. But she said basically, bleep them. Now, Hook, her co-host, said, I think that they're just, because I can't play the audio, I think they just think that it's been branded as a far-right kind of place, to which she responded, Jesus. So they don't want you tied in with anything like that, where you're going to get blowback from the New Times or whoever it is. So she says, F them. They're 20-year-old dopes. That's a rag for selling marijuana ads. Hook then says, I know, but then you're in a position where they've got to explain it, or you've got to explain it. And she says, I'm reaching people.
When she says F them, who is she?
I think she's talking about the newspaper.
Okay, I was going to say,
I don't think she's talking about her bosses. No, I think that when...
Well, two things. This proves the point, because that station, I believe, is owned and operated by Fox News / 20th Century Fox, or, you know.
Okay.
So if Fox really had a right-wing agenda with their news product, I guess that kind of goes against the grain of that theory.
Yeah,
that some people have.
I guess that would. Sure.
And then number 2, oh well.
Well, and this is the thing that I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, you can't tell talent not to be on a social media platform. You can say that you can't post that. I've heard that once or twice. You can't post that. It's okay to take issue with the content of their post. You can't just say you can't be on a social media platform because the local newspaper might wig out about it, right?
Right.
That just doesn't make any sense.
Well, in the New Times, it's not really a newspaper. It's
Well, it's not. She's got a point when she calls it a rag.
It's not like the Arizona Republic. It's not a mainstream newspaper.
And I guess we don't really have.
It's like an alternative newspaper.
Yeah, we don't really have a comparison here, but where I'm from in Las Vegas, that would be considered the Las Vegas Sun versus the RJ. The RJ is the big real
Los
newspaper.
Angeles, it's the LA Weekly.
Like the Weekly versus, so it's like, it's kind of interesting.
And the New Times it's kind of an alternative political type paper. I mean, they delve into issues and stuff like this. I don't know. I mean, it's compared to a mainstream paper, very few people actually read it into. Right.
And in Las Vegas, there's something called the Las Vegas Weekly, which is also kind of like a newspaper magazine-esque thing, but it's totally alternative. It's not mainstream, but they do write articles, and occasionally they do something good, but mostly it's...
Her bosses might be concerned that as a news anchor, of which she is, that, by appearing on this, social media platform that...
Parlor.
That she is, and again, and she is tweeting or whatever they call it, parloring her opinion about maybe that's what they actually have the issue about. Because if it
doesn't seem like that. It seems like they don't want her on the platform. Because Gavin McInnes is now on the platform. That's his main social media, and Gavin McInnes has been banned everywhere else.
I could understand if they're, giving their opinions about stories and political things, and they are serving as a news anchor.
Yeah,
that I can completely understand.
Content of the
and
post.
I would be upset about that, and I have been upset about that in the past. Not in regard to you.
Yeah, I can't give my opinion about anything on
Casey
social media.
Casey and I have actually not argued about his social media content.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Although you have said that a couple of things that I've posted have made you cringe a little bit. So
most of what you post makes me cringe.
Which is why you should follow me on social media. If it makes my boss uncomfortable, it's good stuff. So yeah, but this story, I posted about this a couple of days ago, and I was kind of watching, everybody, post about it. I finally put it on my website today.
But the thing about Carrie Lake, and I know Carrie Lake,
she's an Emmy Award-winning.
She is not a out there type of person. She's pretty mainstream as far as things go. And so is John Hook.
And her position, and by the way, there should be nothing construed that she is attacking.
She is the last person I would think would ever get into trouble for any kind of crazy stuff.
But again, she didn't. It was merely the presence.
Well, she said the F word on camera. And it got distributed by somebody who ought not have distributed it.
Correct. Now, again, this is during a commercial break, but we talk about this in radio as well. Always assume the microphone is on. And when you're on TV, those cameras are still rolling. You have that B-roll.
And when case in point, when Casey's on the air, when he goes to commercial, the camera and microphones are always on.
Yeah. So we still have the live stream. Online content is unrated.
And we have said words in the past off the air that it's like, oh, oops.
Correct. But again, online content is unrated. I've made that well known. We try to still be FCC compliant, but occasionally we throw things at each other. We got some pots and pans here just for that reason.
A private conversation with a coworker that was not meant to be made public, and it was made public by someone who had an agenda.
And here's the thing. We already know who those people are who are in the building because we know who is recording at that time, right? Yeah. So those got to be the first people that the company is talking to.
Yeah.
So and whoever did it has to be fired.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that.
No. And how do you go to work with that person the next day, knowing that they distributed
absolutely. And it was clearly an agenda from somebody saying that she's now some kind of a kook or a quack or something of that nature, which she's not. Again, she's an Emmy Award-winning reporter, or news anchor, I should say. But when you have somebody inside that building who's distributing this stuff, that's an employment contract violation. And while I haven't seen their contract, I don't know of any television contract that exists that says you will not be leaking information out into the public without permission. I don't know a contract out there for any television station that doesn't have that provision in there. So whoever did it is going to be in big trouble. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up learning about that.
I think Carrie Lake's F word is the least of their problems in this whole situation.
Oh, God forbid a news person happens to be a real person and cusses off of camera. God forbid. But for me, the funniest part about the video, by the way, is that Hook is sitting there fixing his clothes the entire.
Well,
and he's
yeah,
like so nonchalant. Well, I think they're just doing this thing. He's just constantly fixing his clothes. It's great.
Well, God forbid a news anchor adjust his tie during a commercial break.
It's not even the tie. He's like, it's shirt. It's weird. I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of playing with his clothes.
I saw it and I watched it because I couldn't believe that she would be embroiled in a controversy like this.
No, it's not something that you would expect. Now, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her in person, but again, I was in close proximity to her, and she's got a great reputation.
You would like her,
and I've heard nothing but nice things about her. All right, so we had to address it. I know a lot of people have been asking us about it, but I did post about it too at theburningtruth.us, and you can watch the video there if you really wanted to. We have more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
John Hook have filled in various capacities on KTAR when I was out there.
Okay.
Either with news or I think John actually did the talk show a few times.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they are owned by Fox television stations, by the way.
So.
Yeah. I figured I'd look it up.
Well, I think it's funny that, for the people, now granted, Fox has a whole talk lineup that is absolutely pointed in the conservative direction, much as MNC does.
Right.
So, but when it comes to their news product
is unbiased.
Very much fair and balanced and all that, stuff. And so I think it's funny that the management would ask her to get off of that platform if it which they, I guess, have deemed right-wing, extremist right-wing. I don't know I actually haven't heard of it.
No, Parler, it's like, it's a new emerging thing.
Yeah,
but they don't cater towards conservatives. They're just a platform.
Yeah, somebody deemed it that way because it's all the people getting kicked off of Twitter.
Who have nowhere to go.
Yeah, who have nowhere to go. So, so I think it's funny that, people who say that Fox news product is biased, I mean, that kind of blows holes in that whole theory.
Yeah.
Because, if that theory...
Unless it's just the station manager, I guess. I suppose it could just be the station manager.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying, because we've been accused of this too. Casey, I think you actually accused us of this. That MNC News is pointed in a certain political bend, and it's not true.
Oh no,
I'll tell you this. Anybody who's listening, I'll tell you right now. We fight tooth and nail to stay ahead of the news every day, and we're not up there in the newsroom thinking about which way can we bend this for the audience benefit, or which way can we bend this for a Democratic benefit.
I've used examples of the news department to highlight that you can kind of see sometimes in the news, based on who writes the news for us, that there's a diverse political
and I will
in the
tell
news
you
department.
this because I was asked point blank by a South Bend police officer. He wanted to know what I knew about the Eric Logan shooting 2 weeks ago, just off the top of my head. And I told him, and I said, this is what I know. And boom, boom, I gave him what I knew. And he's like, wow, you're really accurate. And I said, yes. I said, your issue with the Eric Logan shooting is not 95.3 MNC. It is with the Associated Press. Because the Associated Press, every time there is an article or has been an article about that shooting, the first line is a white police officer shot a black man.
Every time.
Every time. And we have been very careful. In fact, I wrote a couple of follow-up stories on that shooting that air tomorrow that say a South Bend police officer shot a car break-in suspect who was allegedly armed, and it still is allegedly, who was allegedly armed with a knife.
Correct.
And I don't even put color into it.
Well, and that's the thing. And we talk about this a lot because because you have one person at the AP wire service, and we talk about this all the time. But a lot of people don't know how this works.
But we get blamed for it because the AP stories appear
because
on
we
our
carry
website.
because we carry syndicated AP
so
content. So then they come after us, right?
95.3 MNC has an agenda, and we don't.
But it's the Associated Press. You have one Dorcas somewhere at one of their headquarters, wherever, who's writing the piece, who is saying all of these things. But because we carry Associated Press syndicated content, it comes through the MNC, it posts to our website, and then people assume that our news team wrote it, even though it says on the top that it's from the Associated Press.
And what we write is based off of
Correct.
legal documents or the court documents that are given to us, like in this situation, when I write a story, it's based off of what the prosecutor has said.
Yeah.
And that is it, plain and simple.
And by the way, I think Cotter is getting the shaft here too. I mean, just the notion that he shouldn't even have a shot at looking at this case.
I think that's a really poor choice of words.
A shot at looking at this case.
Shame on you.
Shame on me.
You should really be.
Yeah, I should be ashamed of myself. I'm not, though, because I have no shame.
Shame on you.
But Cotter should have had an opportunity. And the thing is, like, when the mayor says that, I don't even think Cotter should be able to look at this. It's like, what the hell are you saying about him? Who has any complaints about Cotter? I haven't heard any complaints about Cotter.
When he's elected president, he can change the system. But I don't know. I mean, it is how it is. I mean, that's the system.
I know, but why? But why demand a special prosecutor when there isn't anything wrong with him?
All this double speak about the board of safety, where people get mad that the police chief can't hire or can't fire, but I mean, it's that way for a reason, because these are the same people who complain. When somebody does get fired.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's just so double speak.
Well, and we have
color and race has nothing to do with this.
So we have a coroner's inquest process in Las Vegas, which is similar to what they're trying to do with this civilian board here.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Everybody hates it, and they want it abandoned. Why? Because for the entirety up until I moved here was the first time that they had ruled a police shooting not justifiable.
Yeah.
It's the very first time in the entire history of the department. So the citizen board thing doesn't work either.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is, because this question was even asked in the Citizens Police Academy last summer that I went through, and that is a cop able to shoot a suspect who's only carrying a knife? And and they talked about the whole 21 feet rule.
Yeah.
And that.
Hey, how many times have you heard me talk about it?
It's a real deal. It's a real thing.
I've told people before that if you carry a gun and not a knife, you're at a disadvantage.
My issue is when did it become, the way where a police officer doesn't have the right to go home to see his family at the end of his shift,
right?
Because he was threatened. I mean, he's got the same rights as anybody else.
Well, this is the thing that's so frustrating about this is that instead of these so-called community leaders standing up and going, hey, stop doing this crap so we can stop having these conversations and these debates, stop behaving this way, and policing the community themselves, they're just blaming everybody else who's being drug into it. He didn't want to do that.
I'm giving my opinion about a story that.
Well, but you're not doing the news.
No, and when I do the news, it's all based off of what the prosecutor's office has said has happened, or what is on the record as of being what happened. It's not based on what I believe or what I think.
And what Cotter said at that press conference is pretty damning.
Yeah. Well, and it amazes me also how many people have never actually listened to the entire press conference.
No.
Because
why would they?
People are still questioning, well, where'd the knife come from?
He stole it.
Allegedly took it from one of the 6 vehicles that was broken into.
Correct.
And the owner the owner of the knife has identified it as property stolen from his or her vehicle. So. Yeah.
I mean, somebody broke into my car, they could get 1 or 2 knives.
I have a couple of knives. I have a couple of knives in my car too.
Breaking news: the sex assault charge against Kevin Spacey has been dropped.
In a related story, R. Kelly is contacting Kevin Spacey's attorney.
Oh, man.
That was a weird one, that whole Kevin Spacey thing.
Yeah, real weird.
Talk about a news anchor who ended up in the news. Holy mackerel. That whole thing.
That's a good question, Danelle. And if the guy's going to get his, or the owner, I should say, is going to get his knife back, because right now it's evidence. So after this whole thing is over with, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get it. Good question. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 25-95-953. You can also send a text message
to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. Want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Of course, if you mention me, you get half off your range time. And kids shoot free today. Just like every Wednesday, kids shoot free with a shooting parent. Tomorrow is the Defensive Pistol Open League night. So make sure you go check that out at secondamendmentarms.net. Okay, what else do we have here? By the way, we were just having a discussion about the South Bend shooting case. And John, obviously, is my program director and my news director. He runs the news department here as well. And we were talking about the difference between opinion and news, and then how you're reporting on that case and that sort of thing, and how law enforcement actually had approached you at one point after it had happened and just kind of asked you
in an unofficial capacity.
Yeah, and just said, what do you actually know about it? And then you railed off, what you knew about the case, and they actually said, wow, that's pretty accurate. Because again, there's a lot of people around the country who, well, they haven't seen the press conference with Cotter. They
see the sound bites.
Or there's a bite.
They see the sound bites, or they see the reaction from the mayor or other people who end up.
And then there's some people who just don't want to listen to it. They're like, oh, well, if the prosecutor's been taken off the case. They have a special prosecutor, so you can't trust what that guy's saying. Yeah. I mean, but that press conference had so much information in it. There's so many people out there who haven't seen it. But we kind of talked about this. Actually, this has been a theme, I think, for the past couple of weeks. People are lazy, and that includes people in the news. So you have all of these montages where you have hundreds of news channels that say the exact same thing over and over and over again. And we were doing this before Sinclair Broadcasting had their universal advertisement that they ran on their stations, which some people were trying to say was proof that they were fake news. It was a commercial. They just had their local talent do it. It's no different than a national advertiser advertised on several radio stations having the different talent read the same script. Okay, it's the exact same thing. They weren't doing news content, but it was a commercial. So you do have people who read the exact same thing while they're doing the news content. And that is typically because they get it from the AP wire service and the producer, whoever's responsible for the language that day. Most anchors are not responsible for rewriting those things. They get it and they just plug it into the system, and they didn't spin it and make it their own. And so they just read the same thing over again. So you have thousands of people reading the same exact script written by one, maybe two people at the wire service, usually the AP, that actually produced the piece. And that, again, it just gets regurgitated all over the place, as opposed to somebody stopping and going, well, I'm going to go ahead and look into this myself. And case in point, so Eric Garner, we talked about Eric Garner yesterday. So I posted about Eric Garner, no federal charges against the officer who put him in the headlock. And I just posted that story with the hashtag Breathe Easy. Now, there was a whole Breathe Easy thing that was happening at the time as a response to Eric Garner, who, again, died while resisting police in New York. He was selling cigarettes individually, which is illegal in New York, and the police were called to deal with it. By the way, the police had dealt with him numerous times for the same activity. So he had already been warned not to do this. So then he resists arrests. And as a result of him resisting arrest and the fact that the officers who were trying to get him under control couldn't, he got put in a headlock and taken down. It's really that simple. He's a big man. And as a result of a pre-existing health condition, he had a cardiac arrest, and he unfortunately passed away. But there are people out there who still think he was choked to death. And I ran into this yesterday on social media. People are like, there's a video of it. Yeah, the video shows he's not choked. Watch the full video and you can see the whole interaction with him and him resisting police and getting confrontational with him. Because there's some people that I literally had somebody send me a tweet yesterday that said that the plainclothes officers snuck up behind him and choked him out and killed him without his Miranda rights being read or anything. I'm like, none of that is true. And the Miranda rights thing is a totally irrelevant fact of all of this. They have to take him into custody. So it's just interesting to see how people will believe whatever they want to believe. The hands up, don't shoot nonsense and that sort of stuff. But this happens with a whole host of news stories. For example, you had the so-called squad, these 4 members of Congress who were sitting up there with this press conference the other day, and they just railed off several lies. The president colluded with a foreign government. No, he didn't. The detainees were being told to drink out of the toilet. No, they weren't. This is a whole other system that has the sink on top of the toilet, and it's totally clean and safe and sanitary. But they just railed off all of these things that were completely untrue. There were fabrications, but there's still people out there nodding their head going, yeah, get them. It's not accurate. Okay? And it doesn't do Representative Amash or anybody else any favors when they say this stuff is true. And they give it weight and they give it credit when it's not. And like I said, I wasn't even a Trump supporter in the primary. I was a Ted Cruz guy, but I had Ted Cruz people going, why are you pulling for Trump so much? I'm like, what are you talking about? You're always talking about Trump. He's always being falsely accused of something. There's no getting away from it. At that point, it becomes the news cycle. He's been falsely accused of something. And let's be perfectly honest. The past 3 years, Trump has just been accused of a bunch of crap that didn't happen. You know what, was it CNN or was it CBS? One of the news channels. You know what their big breaking story, their big headline story was today? In 1992, Trump is seen at a party with Epstein. So, in 1992, before anybody knew any of the allegations against Epstein, in 1992, so what? But that's the big story. It's irrelevant, okay? Especially when you factor in everything else that has happened. But they're just so focused on this tribalist tunnel vision that they have and confirmation bias and everything else. And a lot of people are that way with a whole host of issues. They really are. And unfortunately, you just can't get some people to stop and take a step back and look at the evidence and look at the facts. Like I said, everybody out there now with social media, they think that their opinion has given them some expert degree in something. I just watched, who's that Indian comedian? Why am I just drawing a blank on it? He was on Parks and Recreation. What the heck is wrong with me?
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking.
My brain is clearly fried.
Or no,
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah,
okay, so I watched his Netflix special yesterday. And because this is his first special that he's done since he was falsely accused of sexual assault. So he came back and his entire show was about how people have opinions and they think that makes them experts on stuff on social media. And he basically blasts them all. I mean, first of all, it's a very good comedy special. You should watch it. But there's also some really big emotional moments in there because he does deal with some serious stuff that's not meant to be comedy about what has happened to him in the past year and what he's learned about people on social media and the social justice warrior mentality of our society now. And frankly, how pasty white people are doing their best to give themselves brownie points by trying to be the most woke about a bunch of things that, frankly, they don't need to be the most woke about. And he covers all of this. It's a really good special, which deals with a lot of issues that we deal with as a culture right now. And I would recommend that you watch it. First of all, he's really funny anyway. But very good special, and I highly recommend it. But it does deal with a lot of this stuff. I got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We're on the Weather Watch 24 hours a day, on air and on your smartphone with weather
Text alerts. Sign up at 95.3 MNC.
Can't believe I forgot his name. Weird.
Casey Hendrickson.
I just watched it last night. What the hell's wrong with it?
Your breaking news and weather station.
Turns out,
The AP sorry, Connie says on Facebook.
Call Shield Exteriors today for a free estimate at Shield Exteriors coins in North.
I don't know. Was he accused of anything in 1992? I'm not sure. 1992, OJ was seen as Bob Costas. That's a fair point. I mean, OJ was a movie star in 92.
Keep that in mind going forward as we see.
All right, thank you, Nick, for now. And protection that will last. Exteriors, protect coins and jewelry to A to Z Coins in Northcrest.
Good morning, I'm David Coley.
But he screamed 11 times and he couldn't breathe. I know. Well, and here's the thing. So I had one of these people on Twitter who's also on Facebook, liberal. I had him say, he even said he couldn't breathe. I'm like, yeah, but you can't say that if you're being choked. And I was like, look, I get that there's not a lot of people out there who know about choking other people. I get that. But you can't talk if you're being choked. There's no air. There's no oxygen for you to talk. So, you try to explain that to people who don't know, and they're just convinced by what they think they see because they want it to be true. And it's unfortunate, but
outside and inside says a lot about you. Whether it's for a thriving business, your hobby, storing your sports equipment, or just the place you call home.
Quad Portfolio provides project info. For more farm news on demand, click on Farm News at Lowe.com. I'm David Coley. Whoa, Farm News. Whoa, Farm News is brought to you by
Whoa, Farm News. How dare you work on another station's work in my studio? Shame on you.
I can't help it.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Shame.
Good morning. I'm David Coley with Allendale. Cash cattle prices on Friday were showing strong gains. We get to the northern area,
you want to look at this?
Up to 115 to 116 and a half in the live market.
Did you want to look at this?
184 to 185.
Oh, yeah.
So you push the clip up to deploy the blade out of the end.
Oh, wow.
It's the first OTF automatic knife tactical pen that I have ever seen, and it is the most amazing thing ever. And it has a safety on there, too. But right with it. Right with it. That is a nice pen.
That is.
Like, it's a high-quality pen, too. Plus, it's a tactical pen, which is designed to be... Tactical pens hurt like a mug when you get tagged with them.
That is super
Isn't that
cool.
neat?
That is really, really cool.
Yeah, buddy. Love this thing. Just freaking love it.
Yeah, that is,
I'm stoked to be carrying this now. Both on person and in my store at asdefense.com. It'll be up there tonight. That one's mine. I'm keeping that one.
The China says nothing tariffs and resume is letting us down. Depend on it.
Doobie-doobie-doo. All right, so I'm at 1918, it looks like, on subscribers. So I had a nice little rush of subscribers today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Who else do I have up here?
Farm News is brought to you by proper PPE when handled cage and may be subject to use restrictions.
Well, Jared's the last one that came through on my system.
Troy Cartwright will perform on stage Tuesday, July 23rd. It's country star Morgan Wallen with special guest Riley.
That's funny, Comet.
July 24th, it's all vocal country sensation Home Free. The grandstand is free with your gated.
John hurts himself live.
Then I will say the F word like Carrie Lake.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mom came in late, so this is it. It's a tactical pen. Okay, it writes, and then the clip is the actual knife deployment, and it's actually sharp too. I mean, it's a good little knife, dual edged,
Last year I told you that we love to replicate your
dual action, and it writes really well, and it comes with a refill. So yeah, this thing's neat. I love it. That's a safety. You just twist that, and then it won't deploy. So super awesome.
We made cilantro, rice, and beans for a quinceañera and pulled together an authentic Irish-themed wedding, complete with bangers and mash.
The price for them retails, I think it's going to be about $65. I got to look at the information. I might be able to get a little bit cheaper than that, but I got to make sure there's no MAP pricing restrictions on it.
Corporate events, holiday parties, reunions, celebrations of life, and private parties of all types. Allie's has partnered up with local venues to ensure that your day is special and perfect. Check out our full catering menu at alliescafe.com or ask your server when you stop in for breakfast or lunch Tuesday through Saturday. See you soon.
Your top news
All right, here we go.
During Michiana's morning news, first thing weekdays, from 95.3 MNC. Your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Speaking of sugar, by the way, the song is Butterfly. A lot of people always ask me about that. The excitement is building for the Elkhart County 4-H Fair, where you're going to get tons of sugar and awesome goodness, by the way. This year, 95.3 MNC is a big part of it with $5 First Friday and Veterans Day. The fair starts this Friday, and on Friday, your admission ticket is just $5 with $5 food specials throughout the park, free rides on the Ferris wheel during the first hour of the fair. And also, there is free admission for veterans with a special salute to all vets taking place at Heritage Park at 4 o'clock. The Elkhart County 4-H Fair starts Friday, and we will see you there with 95.3 MNC. Looking forward to that. All right. I am live streaming on youtube.com/Casey the host and also twitch.tv/Casey the host and on Facebook at facebook.com/Casey the host. I'm doing a subscriber drive on YouTube. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. There's been a really good push today. I appreciate it. Still have a little ways to go. I would like to get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube before the end of the month. So we have 13 days to do it. So please go to youtube.com/Casey the host. That's CASEY. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody who has done that today and everybody who has done it in general. But a lot of you have answered the call today to go ahead and do that. And I appreciate it. Again, go to youtube.com/Casey the host. Have some breaking news. The sex assault charge against Kevin Spacey was dropped. So he's going to be free because we knew that was probably coming. And now this, Ebola in Congo. The outbreak of Ebola in Congo, which nobody has been talking about in spite of the fact that Congolese people keep trying to come across the southern border by the dozens. Actually, there was one point where there was hundreds of Africans coming across, lots of them from Congo. And again, Congo is where this huge Ebola outbreak is happening. Well, the World Health Organization has announced today that the virus has spread to a city of 2 million people, and they have now declared this current outbreak a global health emergency. Now, here's why this is a big deal. Ebola, usually the reason it's obviously everybody knows that Ebola is dangerous and deadly, but one of the questions is, why hasn't it become a mass killer? And the issue with that is that a lot of these African nations who deal with Ebola, they have small towns, little tribes, things like that. They're really isolated. The moment it gets into a city of 2 million people, it becomes a very different concern. And I don't know if that has ever even happened before. I'm not sure. The World Health Organization Expert Committee declined on 3 previous occasions to advise the United Nations Health Agency to make the declaration for this outbreak, even though other experts say that it has long met the conditions. More than 1,600 people have died since August in the second deadliest Ebola outbreak in history, which is unfolding in a region described as a war zone. Of course, Congo kind of sucks. Now, a lot of the people in Congo are fleeing Ebola. They're going to Mexico, and they're trying to come across the southern border. What if one of them contracts the virus? This is a huge health concern. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC-FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
Another legal battle for the White House.
I don't know if it's ever hit a city of 2 million people before.
Casey, I have more work for another radio station to do.
They probably suck too.
No, they don't. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I can't help it. I'm in demand today in Fort Wayne. The Inspector General's office received confidential allegations that system leaders interfered with primary care providers' opioid prescribing practices and that the system leaders failed to meet all the goals of the Veteran Health Administration's Opioid Safety Initiative update. After an inspection, the Office of Inspector General determined that patients didn't have identifiable adverse clinical outcomes. However, the continuation of opioid use may have prolonged their dependence. Primary care providers also report they felt pressured by the chief of staff regarding opioid prescribing practices. You can find full details with the story at wowo.com. John Zimney, WOWO News. All right, as you were.
As I was. Later, Mike. Have fun making some jerky.
The Inspector General's office received confidential allegations that system leaders interfered with primary care providers' opioid prescribing practices and that the system leaders failed to meet all the goals of the Veteran Health Administration's Opioid Safety Initiative.
All right, I got to go grab a warm-up. I'll be right back.
The Office of Inspector General determined that patients didn't have identifiable adverse clinical outcomes. However, the continuation of opioid...
What are you drinking today, Casey?
However, you're drinking Ovaltine? What?
Liberty.
Oh. Didn't have
why did you come out of the side? That's a messed up bull right there. What the hell?
Their dependence. Primary care providers also report they felt pressure. The chief of staff regarding opioid prescribing practices. You can find full details.
Your fault.
Did you just say I suck?
Yeah, this is your fault.
You can find full details.
My coffee spilling is your fault. Somehow, some way.
The Inspector General. Don't make me utter an F word.
How come we don't have paper towels anymore? By the way, the new paper towel system in the bathroom was long overdue.
Yeah, jeez. I know. What the heck?
Get really short. Get inside somewhere where it's
Crazy.
cool and
Crazy in that
comfortable.
bathroom.
And the other big things are the pets and your children.
Not
You
liking
don't have
that
to take them to the
system.
store, you don't have to take them for
So
a
who
ride.
have we had that left in the past year from this company that we can pin the urinating all over the floor by the urinal on purpose
That's 95
thing with? Because somebody was doing that for like a year. And
Oh.
it stopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it has
geez.
stopped. So somebody who has left like in the past, I would say good 6 months or so.
Well, I can think of a couple, but they're in my department, so I'm not going to say. I'm not going to name names.
I'm just saying, somebody peed all over that thing regularly.
I don't know.
Friggin' nasty.
Most of my people will go upstairs.
40,000 people per
It's a nice
year.
bathroom.
The ribbon cutting at the $39 million facility
more
was
private.
held Monday.
And the lighting is not nearly as harsh.
That's true.
Up at the South Bend Vet Center this weekend for a special
Can't have harsh lighting when you're going
day
poo.
on Saturday. From 10
And
to
they have
4:30,
reading material.
veterans and
That's
active
always
duty
nice.
service members will be admitted free. Family members of current and former military will be admitted for $5. All military tickets between those hours on Saturday will include a free hot dog and chips at the station behind the outer outpost.
Weather sponsored by
The Prime Table Kid. Cool off from the summer heat. Skip the drive-thru. Stop in and try our new iced coffees.
Now, home comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals' first warning forecasts.
stifling humidity tonight, the low 74, and it only gets hotter with extreme heat starting Thursday. High of 94, partly cloudy.
How about that intern getting all dressed up to come to work? That's adorable.
Which one is it?
Tall blonde kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's like got slacks and a button-up shirt. Looks all professional. Hey, Blue sells bathroom toilet or bathroom paper towel systems. Jesus, what the hell is wrong with me? I think I'm hitting a wall. I need food. Oh yeah, I was supposed to call my wife and tell her how to do that, and I didn't do it. Oh well. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Shelby Rosenberg. I'm in pre-owned sales at Lock Money Motors. I wouldn't say
Well, you be safe getting home, Blue. I appreciate you both listening, and I'm glad that I was able to right yesterday's wrong.
I will walk you through your vehicle and help you out with some of your paperwork. But at the core of what I do in sales here at Lock Money Motors is help people, make people happy, and just do the right thing every time.
All janitorial and sanitation stuff they sell. So if we need a new janitorial supplier, we have a listener. JJ. Oh man, I have some interesting info about that payroll company. I can't tell anybody, but whew, it's a doozer. Oh man, those urinals that are like on the floor but not the full length ones, those things are annoying.
Oh, yeah, especially when you're wearing shorts.
Yeah, they're like mounted for kids.
Yeah.
But that's the only option.
Yeah.
We have one urinal. Let's make it good for kids too.
Really low to the floor, and then it splashes at you.
No, make the kids sit down, damn it. And I'm not a tall dude. I can't imagine what like a 6'5" person has to deal with one of those things.
This is what love from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
Made for elves.
$75 a year. I know, right? You think I say I know right too often? I do. I know, right? I have to stop, don't I? I know.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like.
Was there handicap urinals? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, even our commercials are better on a bike. Progressive keeps you on yours. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Happy thought it was funny that I was talking about pee on the floor. Somebody was intentionally peeing all over it. So, I mean, it was... Right now, our pooper is broken. It has a leak, so it doesn't actually flush anything down. So it takes like 5 flushes to get it to do anything. It's annoying.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Want to thank you for tuning in and listening to us today, as you do every day. I mean, for those of you who do every day anyway. And we are also live streaming, youtube.com/Casey the host. We're also doing a YouTube subscriber drive. If you could go to youtube.com/Casey the host and subscribe to my YouTube channel, we got a goal of getting to 2,000 people subscribe to my YouTube channel by the end of the month. If we do, I will do a giveaway. Not quite sure what I'm going to give away yet. I will come up with something. Maybe I'll even make a poll so you all can decide what I will give away. But you have to do that by going to youtube.com/Casey the host. Again, while you're there, please thumbs up the videos, watch all of the videos, comment on all of the videos, and of course, share it to irritate the algorithm and your liberal neighbors. Also streaming on facebook.com/Casey the host today and twitch.tv. So we're /Casey the host. We're doing all of them today. And so far, so good, although the Facebook comments do not show up on the video, so I do apologize about that. All right. Do you want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Kids shoot free today with a shooting parent. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. A payroll processing company based in Elkhart made a $122 million overdraft by initiating wire transfers without having the money to cover the transactions and still has not paid the money back, according to a federal lawsuit in Ohio. Interlogic Outsourcing Inc., or IOI, probably should change their name to IOU. I know that is low-hanging fruit, but I had to do it. Processes payments for over 6,000 clients across the country, according to its website. The company faces a civil fraud lawsuit from KeyBank over fraudulently initiated wire transfers. KeyBank also claims in court documents that IOI CEO Najib Khan, I believe he is Pakistani, knew there wasn't enough money to cover the transfers. The lawsuit was filed last week in federal court in Cleveland, where KeyBank is headquartered. It lays out a timeline showing that Khan issued checks through Lake City Bank from a pair of related companies, Time Plus and IOI Payroll, to Interlogic on July 3rd and July 5th. Then, Khan ordered wire transfers last July 8th from IOI to a trio of other banks, Berkshire Bank, Wells Fargo, and JP Morgan Chase. The total was $122 million. It wasn't until after the wire transfers were processed that KeyBank received a notice from Lake City Bank that the checks were being returned because of insufficient funds, according to the court documents in Ohio. Since the lawsuit was filed last week, restraining orders have been issued to freeze Khan's personal assets and direct Berkshire, Wells Fargo, and JP Morgan Chase to set aside the money transferred to them, except for amounts that are specifically identifiable and traceable to transfers from Interlogic's customers and earmarked for payroll services. So if it was legitimate funds that were going to go towards payroll, those things are supposed to be allowed through. KeyBank has lost or is in immediate jeopardy of losing approximately $122 million as a result of the wrongful conduct of Khan and Interlogic, according to the lawsuit. And messages from the Tribune left at the office in Elkhart with attorneys representing KeyBank and with attorneys for Khan were not returned. Khan founded Interlogic Systems, Inc., the predecessor to IOI, back in 1988 to provide payroll processing services and other human resource work. Now, Khan is currently a member of the board for the First Source Bank, okay, and previously served on the board of the Memorial Health Foundation, the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County, WNIT, and the Studebaker Museum. So this is interesting. By the way, on Monday, references to Khan and the treasurer, Robert O'Brien, were no longer visible on the company's website. Huh. By the way, a page that detailed their history and their founding by Khan was also removed. So he's trying to scrub all traces of himself with this thing. There are a lot of speculation about whether or not he's even in the country. He might have taken off. I guess he could potentially be in another country. But holy smoke! I mean, this goes back to the company's been there since 1988. But I mean, wow! Just it's just crazy to see this much money. So I don't know if he was able to get that money some way, shape, or form. I'm not really sure if he was able to get the $122 million and make off with it, or if he's going to lose that. And I don't really know what is going to happen at this point in time. But the lawsuit, which by the way is just civil at this point, there's a very strong possibility this dovetails into the criminal. We are talking about criminal amounts, obviously, with $122 million. But if he did book it out of the country, who knows if anybody is going to be able to get any of that money back. So pretty crazy stuff happening in Elkhart. Based on some of the things that I have heard, there's going to be a lot more coming out about this that we will hear about in the near future, which will also be adding a lot of elements and layers to all of this going forward. So this is, again, I don't know if he has access to that $122 million or not. I know that they've been told to set it aside and freeze it and everything else, but I don't know if he was able to grab any of it before he took off. So again, the idea that he is going to escape some kind of criminal charges, they're going to probably file him. The real question is he out of the country? And if he's out of the country, they may not be able to get the guy. I don't know. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Sorry, I'm just looking at the live stream, and I've got a zombie running next to my head. I've got a little glitch on one of my notifications. So you're just going to have to deal with it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy it. Take screenshots, meme it, whatever you want to do. So we did talk a little bit earlier about the impeachment thing. I just had a text message kind of come through asking me about that. It's a procedural vote, okay? So they're basically voting on whether or not they want to send the impeachment proposal to committee. If it goes to committee, it'll likely die, or if they want to actually have debate on the floor about it, okay? So it's a procedural vote, and when all of that is taken care of, we will, of course, continue to cover it, and I'm assuming that will come up tomorrow. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Again, you can also send a text message to 45364. Mark, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi there.
Good.
What's on your mind, Mark?
Don't put me on the air, please.
Oh, you didn't want to be on the air. Okay, I will do that. I didn't know. Sorry, thought he was a caller. If only my call screener had notified me.
Mark, dude.
Okay.
I asked you if you wanted to go on the air.
All right. Republican immigrant from Jamaica is going to challenge AOC for her seat. Now, again, unlikely that she is going to win, but she does have a challenger now. And she is 38-year-old Sherry Murray blasted AOC for her self-indulgent narcissism and her anti-business agenda. There is a crisis in Queens, and it's called AOC, she said. And instead of focusing on us, she's focusing on being famous, mainly rolling back progress and authoring the job-killing Green New Deal and killing the Amazon New York deal. Murray, who moved to America at age 9 and worked for New York City's Jamaica Bus Depot as a teenager, released a powerful campaign video in which she accused AOC of choosing self-promotion over service, conflict over constituents, resistance over assistance. Pretty good message. Now, again, she's not going to be able to win, but who knows? Maybe she'll be able to dovetail that into another political avenue. But it's a really smart ad. Again, Queens and the Bronx need someone who will create jobs instead of turning them away, Murray said in the video. She considers herself a supporter of President Trump and thinks that AOC's brand of socialism is, quote, far, far to the left, and it is not connecting with everyday Americans. So very interesting. But again, she is from Jamaica, and she is going to be running against AOC in a very, very blue district. But she's also got some valid points. Now, that won't resonate with the crazies in that district, but she does have some valid points that it sure does seem like Ocasio-Cortez is more interested in getting notoriety and fame and building her brand than actually doing her job. In fact, we had Conway. She said today, look, collectively, these 4 women haven't accomplished anything at all. They've really just been heroes of the media, and they've been talking to everybody, and they've really just gained fame. They haven't actually done much while they've been in Congress. And if you look at their record, that's fairly accurate to say. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Nile.
Then I went to pick up to talk to him, and he, remember that news conference that we tried to carry on Monday, and they added all those cuss words? He did the same thing to me then. And I'm like, all right.
What did he want?
I don't know. He wanted to talk to you regarding the IRS.
Okay.
I don't know, but when I went back to talk to him to find out what his message to you that he wanted off the air after I properly screened him,
Good Lord.
He uttered a bunch of cuss words at me, and his phone was kind of, he was on a bad cell phone anyway, so it was kind of hard to understand at that point. I think he was driving, but yeah,
okay.
It was crazy. I feel abused. I feel abused, and I want a piece of the pie now.
Do you want a coloring book, John?
No.
We can get you a coloring book.
No, but I think monetary compensation for what I've just been through is fair.
I think Mark probably has a coloring book somewhere in that top drawer. I'm sure of it.
I know he's got crayons in there.
Yeah, he's got crayons in there.
I'm holding out for monetary compensation.
Is that him again? I'm not talking to him off the air.
Well, I'm not going to talk to him.
He can,
well, if it's him,
he can jump in a lake. I'm not talking to him off the air.
Michiana's news channel. And your first name?
Hey
Mark.
guys,
And Mark, did you want to go on the air?
health expert with another version of
Are you sure?
This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle.
Okay. And what would you like to talk about today?
Recently discovered. She writes, Dear
AOC.
my husband and I used to have a
All right. We're going to put you on the air. Be good. Be a good boy. Stand by.
Then one day he came home and gave me
Is that him?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Told me about this secret formula, Noxitril, that changed our life in the bedroom.
You said be a good boy. Oh my gosh.
It's the only one. Noxitril
He
is all
actually
natural
said
and
be a
works
good
to
boy.
increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids.
That's funny.
Noxitril has
I am a
special
parent.
bottle offer
It's funny.
discreetly to your door.
Still funny. Oh yeah, I got to call my wife. Hold on. How long do I have?
Oh, hey, by the way, you have a impressed jewelry spot coming up.
Okay.
Like it was in this, it's logged in this break.
Okay. How long do I have?
3 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
All right. Hold on.
Casey has to leave the room in case she starts yelling.
No. Okay, sorry this is late. First step, put all of the coals that are in the bag in the bottom part of the smoker, okay? Not the bowl that's on top, but the bottom part of the smoker. You'll see the ash. Put all the coals in there and light them. Take the top rack of the smoker out so it doesn't get too hot. Put the smoker back over the coals and put the lid back on the smoker and let the coals go. Make sure the door on the side is cracked so it can get air. Next, put some wood chips, just a handful or two, in some water to soak. Fill the bowl with water. Do this before you light the coals and put it on the smoker. When you're ready, after the flame goes out, put the chicken on the bottom rack, put the top rack on, then put my sirloin on. Okay, hopefully that was good enough. Hopefully that was good enough.
Wait. Put your sirloin on. What about her sirloin?
She doesn't get sirloin. That's mine. She can have the chicken.
Oh.
So we're doing a whole chicken and then that massive sirloin thing. So hopefully that was enough. So I'll send her a message as well.
affecting the U.S. Details Thursday morning on Michigan's Morning News. The new Mark McGill on News Talk 95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. I don't know why I said it like that. Also want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Okay. Back to the phone lines. Let's see if somebody wants to actually talk to us now. Mark, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, didn't AOC just win with only like less than 20% of the voting registers coming out?
I don't know I don't know how AOC won her district or not, but her district is considered safe blue.
Well, I thought she only wanted like less than 20% of voter turnout, and then her approval rate only 28%.
Yeah, approval rating won't mean much when you get into a partisan election, though. Now, I have said that she is in great danger of Pelosi having somebody primary her, and I think it's entirely possible that she could lose a primary. But a Republican winning her district is considered unlikely, but I suppose this woman could surprise us. Her first campaign ad is very good.
She's running from color from another country, so.
Well, yeah, but she belongs to the wrong party, and you know how these things go. It's it's just one of those things. You get people who are in a heavy blue district, and like I said, this is she's in Queens. Queens is just not a Republican place. It's not. It wasn't before, and now that it's become basically hipsterville, it's certainly not. So, I mean, I wish her the best of luck. I really do. I don't know a lot about her, but her first campaign ad is very good. It's very smart. And, it would
my attention.
Yeah. But at the same time, we have seen districts that are solidly blue and solidly red go the other way in recent years. So it's possible, I suppose, that she could shock the world. And I certainly hope that she does, because AOC is just a nutcase. I mean, she's bonkers.
I don't think she'll get reelected.
I would not be surprised if she ends up getting a primary opponent. I really would not be surprised. I
don't think she'll be reelected.
Because I know that Pelosi doesn't want her around. Doesn't want her around at all. And if Pelosi can get a primary opponent for her, remember, I mean, AOC basically won because she was running against a Democrat who was considered a traitor. So, a traitor to the cause. So really, she won because Democrats were upset that the other Democrat wasn't liberal enough.
And then he really didn't campaign. He just figured his name.
Yeah, he figured he was good to go. Right. Yeah. I mean, he's been there a long time. So, yeah, why not?
So,
but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot of very interesting races to take a look at here. And obviously, a lot of them involve Indiana. But it's going to be a really interesting election season in 2020, without a doubt.
And when Trump wins again, they're going to talk about Russian interference.
Of course.
We'll be back through all this. Anyway.
I mean, you got Joe Biden out there going, Russian interference wouldn't have happened on my watch or Obama's. It's like, what?
When he was there.
Yeah. What watch? Who was on watch then? What were you guys doing? Because clearly you weren't in the building. Holy smokes. And then he actually, I don't know if you saw this, Mark, but he actually pulled the, if you like your insurance, you can keep it. He said it. He said it. He pulled the line.
I listen to you every day. I listen to Russ every day. And I listen to Sean Hannity. I heard it all.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right.
You have a good one,
All right. You too. Take care. All right. John, would you do me a favor and cue my audio? Because CBS this morning may have actually done their job. Are you ready for this? They're sitting down with the squad, and they're asking some questions. Again, the squad is Ilhan Omar, who new documents. Sure looks like she married her brother. Oh, it's getting dicey. And here's the thing. 3 years, her local paper, the Minnesota Star Tribune, has been ignoring this story. There are 3 journalists who've been working on this story for 3 years, and the Star Tribune did not give them credit, even though they quoted the work that they had uncovered over the past several years in the article. So there's some people that are a little miffed by that. They're Johnny-come-latelys on this, but they have new documents that seem to suggest that Ilhan Omar may have, in fact, married her brother to commit immigration fraud. The other woman is Rashida Tlaib, who's got an extremely foul mouth. Not that I necessarily care about that, but she says that's a problem for the president. Well, if it's a problem for the president, it's got to be a problem for you. You are a member of Congress. And then, of course, you've got Ayanna over there, and you got AOC. So anyway, this is it's about a minute and a half, but I want you to listen to the interview because, you know what, CBS, they asked some really good questions here, and I think the responses are very telling.
Think that that kind of language is helpful, and what did you hope would come of that?
No, I mean, from day one, I truly believe that he has committed impeachable offenses. And me, you know.
But even if you believe that, the fact that you called him.
I didn't do it on the House floor. And I'm going to be unapologetic in myself. 70% of Americans curse. I'm real. This is who I am. I'm rooted in where I come from, and it's very common for me and for many of my residents to say things like that. But
so you don't regret?
Folks, you don't absolutely regret that. Not. I'm unapologetic about it. I'm definitely going to push forward and saying we have to impeach.
Okay, I'm going to pause here for just a second. 70% of Americans curse. Everybody talks like that. Yeah, that's what we've been saying about Trump. All these. I mean, he's crass, but most of us are crass too, and she has complained about the language that he has used, not just the language that is considered offensive, but his actual language. And yet she does the same thing far worse than he has ever done. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, it continues.
We also asked Congresswoman Ilhan Omar about her past comments suggesting some politicians' support for Israel is motivated by money. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle denounced those comments as anti-Semitic.
Oftentimes there are things that you might say might not hold weight for you, but to someone else, right? The way that we hear and consume information is very different than how the next person might.
So you don't regret your words either?
I do not, but I have gotten I am grateful for the opportunity to really learn how my words made people feel and have taken every single opportunity I've gotten to make sure that people understood that I apologize for it. And
would you like people to?
Which is weird because she doesn't really seem like she has learned her lessons. Let's not forget that these four women refused to condemn anti-Semitism. Okay, there was going to be a vote, which is a show vote, but you know it's one of these things that Congress does on a regular basis. And there was going to be a vote to condemn not her, but anti-Semitism. And these four women would not vote for that. They wouldn't go for it. So that never got a vote. They changed it instead to all hate. We would condemn all hate. And that was a way of shielding Ilhan Omar. Now, I'd like to also point out that they have gone to speak at organizations that have anti-Semitic apparel that are on sale over there. All sorts of stuff that is anti-Jewish, and they've said racist things themselves. Many of them have. In fact, the Ayanna, I think is her name. She recently said that, you know, you have to, if you are going to come and be a brown voice, be a brown voice. We don't want anybody who's not a brown voice. And of course, that means if you're brown, black, whatever, if you don't agree with us, then you are not representing your people, and therefore we don't want you. So, and she also said that she only represents people who look like her out of her district. That's a pretty racist and offensive thing to say. So it's kind of interesting to watch the language here, and nobody is calling them on. Now, CBS asked some good questions, by the way. They just let them off the hook with the answers, but it was still good questions to ask. It's got to come up. Somebody at some point has to talk about the anti-Semitism that they have repeatedly stated. I mean, some of them have repeatedly stated. And the racially controversial comments, which, by the way, if you're looking at a barometer of racism, far exceeds anything that the president has ever said. And yet they're just allowed off the hook. Why? Because they are who they are. So it's pretty interesting to see the way that the media engages with them when most Americans look at this and say that they reject everything. Democrats reject these four, okay? The polling shows that Democrats do not agree with these four. Do you know what Ilhan Omar's national poll numbers are? Anyone? Among Democrats. Anybody? 9%. Democrats hate her. They don't like her. but they're getting enough attention that people think that they're mainstream. We've got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
The atmosphere for us, and this study shows how many more hot days we can expect based on the amount of carbon that's put into the atmosphere. So here's a look at this. It's based by the heat indices in the 90s, 100s, past 105, and off the charts, which would be over around 136 degrees. Now, for Indiana and Michigan, the numbers vary. In Indiana, our historical average
She's been tanning.
20s for 90-degree heat indices and single digits for 100 and beyond. But if the amount of carbon continues at this rate to be released into the atmosphere and no action is taken, you can see that that number jumps to 73 days. That's nearly 2 months of temperatures there in the 90s per year. 34 days.
And just like that, I don't like her.
100. But
just like that.
If we do take action, as the Paris Agreement suggests,
she's pushing the Paris Climate Accord on ABC's weather, John.
As you can see, those numbers are nearly 10 days less if we just take a little bit of action. And here's
if we just take a little bit of action. Oh my gosh, girl, we are outperforming every member nation of the Accord.
The historical average 4 days feeling like the 90s.
This is the most ridiculous piece of television that I have seen in local news in a long
We
time.
could see those numbers
Wow.
increasing into the 30s. That's 1 month more of temperatures feeling like the 90s. So if you enjoy those cooler days, they may not be as available if you are in Michigan. As you can see, they also increase quite a bit for the hundreds. But if the action...
If I like hot weather, should I ignore the Paris Accord?
Live in the newsroom, I'm ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Meteorologist Erica Warbatine.
The thing is, everything that Erica just said, the Paris Climate Accords, there was just a report on how none of the nations, it's falling apart because none of the nations are meeting the accord. The only nation that's meeting it is the U.S., who's not even a damn member.
Pretty close to this, and will also serve.
Weather Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs. Weather Chief Meteorologist Tom
Not allowed to.
Weather Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs has more on what to expect. Tom.
It's only getting hotter from here. And it's
Can I
really
respond to that? Why does he lump us in with fake news now? Can I respond to that with just a sample of that? You said you weren't fake news. What? Just send that to them. Good Lord. Whoa.
For meetings this week.
Holy crap.
A do week, not a let's meet.
Wow.
About all the things we're not doing right.
Will also surge. That's the real first effect you'll feel just over the next 12 hours. It's not cooling down. We're near 90 at this hour. And we'll likely stay pretty close to this.
It's not unbelievable. That is unreal, the propaganda that I just saw.
We may not fall below 80 until after
Holy
midnight.
mother.
That is very steamy out there. Our low tonight, 74.
The carbon is never filtered out of the air, John. It just stays there.
For tomorrow, but we're hitting 94 for our high, and that heat index is likely to reach over 100 tomorrow. This 94 for our high, and that heat index is likely to reach over 100 tomorrow. This is 100. This is the start of the extreme heat.
In her defense, at least she isn't pushing her political beliefs on Parler.
90.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
Officially 89. We didn't reach 90, so we've had 4 days still in South Bend. Not in a row of 90-degree heat. Typically, in a given year, we average about 8 to 9 days annually. And with the impacts of climate change, a warming climate, South Bend has been one place that we have not seen a big increase in 90-degree heat, at least just yet. From 1970 to 2018, we've seen an increase of almost 2 days.
He didn't used to buy into this crap. There had to have been a management meeting that said we're going to push this
annually on average. That's an increase, but there are other parts of the country that have seen a much larger increase. But that
I had dinner with him, John, where he said, yeah, these people are crazy.
Talking more about the rise of extreme heat. We continue our team coverage tonight, ABC 57 First.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like only one soundbite out of that whole thing I could use, and which is when he's talking about the temperatures.
Every time he does the weather now, it's climate change. And I hadn't heard her do it. Now she's doing it. I'm telling you, they had a damn meeting. Somebody needs to ask if there's like a gun pointed at them as they're doing their news. Drive the car, use the AC. I have the car today, and I am blasting the AC, yes. Exactly, Alex. It's weather, not climate. Take care, Happy. Is it supposed to rain tomorrow? We get tomorrow?
Well, you know what? If you'd pay attention to the weather instead of shooting holes and everything they're saying, maybe you'd know.
Maybe if she would give me the damn weather instead of peddling a bunch of carbon never gets filtered garbage.
High, and that heat index is likely to reach over 1. This is the start of the extreme heat, which is why we're in that moderate threat category.
Oh my. Wow. That was extra, ladies and gentlemen. Holy smokes. Whew. Daniel's got a point. Can't be global warming if the earth is flat. Can't be.
Oh, God. Do not start this. What every day you and this thing.
It's a running gag, man. I've got the emojis on Discord about it and everything. It's great. Superfly on Twitch, are you going to Area 51? Used to live there.
You lived at Area 51.
Yeah, right up the road.
Did they have to fly you in?
No, you can drive.
Because yesterday you were like, you don't drive into Area 51.
No, you can't. You can't drive into the base. You can drive next to the base. What's it called? The extraterrestrial highway now? I think is what they call it.
Okay, so where is it in comparison to Las Vegas? Because I'm not sure I even know.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's, God, was it 2 hours away? Ballpark? I don't know what direction.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've been out there, but...
Is there an In-N-Out burger nearby?
No. They might have one on base, we just don't know about it. It's possible.
Hey, ever drive through the Mojave in California?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Borax?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
And, ever go to Barstow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You used to go to Barstow regularly.
That place is spooky. That place is like, I'd be in the restroom and I'd tell my wife, I'd say, hey, if I'm not out in 5 minutes, call the police.
Yeah. It's an old town.
Because somebody just chopped a body part.
No, we used to drive from Vegas to Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
And so you can go through Barstow or you can go through Victorville.
Yeah.
All that.
It's always windy in Barstow.
Always. When you're in the Mojave Desert, it's that way in Lancaster too, because you're almost at Death Valley.
Creepy, spooky wind.
Yep.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. For those of you not watching the live stream, boy, have you missed some opinions. Because, some things happen in the live stream. Anyway, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. We are streaming live at twitch.com. Excuse me, not com. Sorry, I was going to say youtube.com/Casey the Host, twitch.tv/Casey the Host, and on Facebook.com/Casey the Host. And somebody on Twitch, Superfly, asked, are you going to Area 51? I talked about the Area 51 thing. By the way, Superfly, don't go anywhere. During the commercial break, I will post a link. I did a whole segment about Area 51. Most of you know I am from Las Vegas. I did a whole thing on Area 51 the other day, and I made it its own video and its own podcast. So that way you can listen to my insights about Area 51, including insider knowledge that nobody else in talk radio, who at least is going to be within earshot of you, has any knowledge about. Although Greg Knapp has more knowledge and experience than even I have. 574-25-95-95-3. To the phone lines we go. Gene, welcome to the program.
How you doing, Casey?
Doing well, man. What's up?
Did you see the story on the governor of Puerto Rico?
Him refusing to step down?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been silent on all the mainstream media.
It's been silent. They're not talking about... Why would they talk about Puerto Rican corruption when they can easily pretend that it's Trump is the reason that they're not getting any supplies there?
Could, but he's also a Democrat.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
There's that. By the way, we changed the squad name.
Okay.
To the Witch Squad.
The Witch Squad. Oh, see, there was a different name on the live stream yesterday, which I cannot repeat on the radio.
Well, we recommend you not do that.
And for the record, for anybody who's like, oh, his live stream is... I do not endorse the nickname given to the squad on the live stream yesterday. Not officially.
I wouldn't recommend that, but I do.
If you want to, that is fine. Okay, that is the equivalent of retweets or not endorsements that I have. Okay,
that's right. That's why we're calling them the Witch Squad. It's a little bit more reasonable, but it stands for why they're trying to destroy our country, and Islam said they would do it from within.
That is true. It did. And by the way, there's a Democrat out there who's like he I forget his name, but he said yesterday, or the day before, he's like, they're not Democrats, they're socialists, and he wants them gone. He wants them out of here. So, and look, when you look at the polling of Democrats, these four women are not popular. Okay, so they're popular with very small radical segments. They're popular with the media, but they're not popular with mainstream Democrats. And as I've said before, your mainstream Democrat is not an insano. Okay, it's your mainstream conservatives are not insanos. Your mainstream Democrats are not insanos. It's, these are your neighbors, your coworkers, your family members. You have disagreements, but at the end of the day, you have dinner together, you have drinks together, and you get along. But the media has pushed these crazy people. For crying out loud, CNN had Richard Spencer on yesterday to talk about Trump's tweets. Richard Spencer's a lifelong liberal Democrat who all of a sudden became a white supremacist, alt-right, so-called conservative guy. And he's not even conservative. And they're pushing him as one just because he's with this alt-right thing. I believe that Richard Spencer is doing this as an inside discrediting job. I mean, this is blue dogging at its absolute best. But this is a guy who's a lifelong liberal Democrat who supported Obama, and all of a sudden he's a white supremacist and happens to be on the political right. Forget it. But people who don't know who he is don't know that.
Exactly. But we also have to keep in mind who Obama's right-hand person was and Hillary Clinton was. And they're both Claire supporters.
Yeah,
that's true. Supporters.
Yep. There you go. Hey, Gene, appreciate the call, man. You take care.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. So I guess I got to talk about the Planned Parenthood thing. Maybe I'll have time with Chris Pratt tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll have time. I don't know. So the head of Planned Parenthood, Dr. Leanna Wen, was fired by Planned Parenthood. She was aborted by Planned Parenthood after just 10 months on the job. And she says it happened in a secret meeting. Okay. She's not exactly thrilled about that. But what's interesting is the reports that we have on why Planned Parenthood aborted their honcho, who, by the way, is an Asian woman. So predominantly pasty white Planned Parenthood fired an Asian woman, and we can only assume it's because of racism. So Planned Parenthood's ejection of its new president after less than a year is unsurprising, given the friction that we've seen over those months. Abortion is not health care, and dressing it up as a white coat has not fooled the American people, so they fall back on the mainstay of their political machine. Susan B. Anthony List President Marjorie Dannenfelser said in a statement on Tuesday, it is a sign that the abortion giant still overestimates its power in the new environment ushered in by the Trump administration, and that momentum is on the side of life. Okay. Now, here's what's interesting is Leanna Wen, who is a medical doctor, by the way, she was pushing Planned Parenthood to actually provide some of the services that people who defend Planned Parenthood say they provide, but they don't actually provide, like breast exams. She was pushing for that. She was pushing for more actual medical care at Planned Parenthood facilities. God forbid a medical doctor comes in to take over Planned Parenthood and says, no, let's actually do the stuff that we keep telling people we do. They weren't interested in it. And there's a report that BuzzFeed has. Now, it's BuzzFeed, so take it with a grain of salt. But there's a report that BuzzFeed has that she was also predominantly fired because she would not say that men can get pregnant too. Again, she's a medical doctor. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Rescue.
Shame on me. I told you about it.
I know you
and
did.
after
You
the
did.
big stink you gave me yesterday, I dare not
Well,
remind
you know, you actually are doing your job.
We are looking at a chance of showers and
Hang on, the weather's on.
by Sunday. But the next 3 days, the extreme heat, overnight lows, we could be in record territory for that, with lows near 80 as we go through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Next week looks nice. You can open up the windows again with lows.
So why is there a heat index warning today if it's only in the
Wednesday
80s?
nights.
Is it just because of the humidity?
For the past month or so, a couple of times, and we're headed back that way. We'll likely see a water temp somewhere in the low 80s by Friday with the heat and humidity, and there's not much of a cool down. The air temperature isn't going to cool down as much, and I can tell you it's pretty steamy likely up there in St. Joe, especially close to the lake when the lake doesn't cool down at all either. 90s or near 90 through the weekend, and it looks through Saturday like we're going to have some see a water temp somewhere in the low 8.
Arg.
Later, Al. Take care, bud.
And we're headed back that way. We'll likely see a water temp somewhere in the We'll likely see a water temp somewhere in the low 80s.
The
by
Jihad
Friday
Squad.
with the heat and humidity, and there's not much of a cool down. The air temperature
Oh, man.
isn't going to cool down as much, and I can tell you it's pretty steamy likely up there in St. Joe, especially close to the lake when the steamy likely.
Yes, Roy, we take phone calls during the program. That's why I give the phone number out at the beginning and the end of every break and segment. We also take text messages.
Cool down. The air temperature, and
Absolutely.
I can tell you it's pretty
He's on
steamy
Facebook.
likely up there in St. Joe, especially close to the lake when the lake doesn't cool down at all either. 90s or near 90 through the weekend, and it looks through Saturday. The weekend, and it looks through Saturday like we're going to have some pretty nice weather for the beach.
Meat.
Cool down at all either. And it looks through Saturday like we're going to have some pretty nice weather for the beach.
If you do have to go outside, make it really, really short. Get inside somewhere where it's cool and comfortable. And the other big things are the pets and your children. If you don't have to take them to the store, you don't have to take them for a ride, please don't take them, leave them at home. We like to see people sweating. Sweating is good. That means the body is trying to cool itself down. But if you stop sweating and it's 95 degrees with a heat index over 100, that's a pretty good sign that something's going wrong. You need to get inside immediately. If you start to feel sick, dizzy, upset stomach, just some of the basic signs that you just don't feel right, it's a pretty good chance that you're going to get some heat stroke or heat exhaustion, and you need to get inside and get some cold air.
We're so weak in the Midwest.
Hey, this is serious. People get sick from
I
the weather.
know. I'm just saying we're weak, though. It's just growing up where I grew up. It's always weird to hear, if it's 100 degrees, you may not want to go outside. I understand. I said people from Illinois always die on the strip. It's always somebody from Illinois. I'm not making fun of it. It's so interesting to me how different climates people grow up in and how they handle it. Because where I'm from, 100 degrees is like a nice cool day. Here it can kill you.
All right, stand by. And you've got to do those 2 live spots.
Yes, John, they're right here.
Okay.
I have them.
All right,
I do my job, John.
Big boy pants on, Casey.
You are the one that was late into the studio today.
I was not late. I was here before your show started.
You were not in here.
That's
Your
not true.
laptop.
I was upstairs. My laptop was
That
there. I
doesn't
was all
count.
set to go.
That doesn't count. It's 3:05. You weren't here.
I had stuff to do at
You were late.
3:04.
You were
That
later
has
than
nothing to do
Joe.
with you. Oh my
Later
gosh.
than Joe.
Late is the show starts and I'm not here. That's
Oh.
late. Late is not.
Wait,
I'm
that
here
happened
in
yesterday
15 seconds.
when I had in the commercial
I
break.
was perfectly on time. It's just during a commercial break I had to go upstairs to the newsroom.
The music was playing for quite some time. I see. I didn't get to go, Blue, but I heard that it got national attention and tons of people showed up. So that is awesome. So glad that happened. All right, here we go.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Live spots.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Got to tell you about Impress Jewelry Creation. Special occasions happen all the time. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. So whether you got a birthday, an anniversary, some other special occasion coming up, maybe you just want to celebrate that the weather is hot outside. You can go to Impress Jewelry Creations because they have the summer sizzle sale happening right now. It is 20 to 40% off everything in the store. So again, all of the stuff that is at Impress in the store collections is 20 to 40% off, including watches, 40% off for guys and gals, 30% off special store wide. And again, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, you name it. Go to Impress Jewelry Creations. You can find them online, by the way, at impressjewelers.com. Take a look at their staff. Very professional staff. Absolutely wonderful people. In fact, I was talking with two of them last night via I think it was Facebook or text messaging, and it was just great. I had some questions. They were able to come on and answer all of those questions for me. You can also find them in person. Go visit their showroom. Trust me, you're going to love it there at 1233 University Drive in City Plaza South, Granger, Indiana. They're right next door to Temper Grill and C. Kramer Interiors. I have breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Bloomberg. The House blocked a Democratic member's bid to impeach President Donald Trump amid resistance from Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other Democratic leaders. In a 332 to 95 vote on Wednesday, the House refused to advance Democrat from Texas Al Green's impeachment resolution that cited the president's tweets against 4 freshman House Democrats, all women of color, and other comments denounced as racist. Of course, they're not racist, and the tweets aren't impeachable. In the last Congress, when Republicans controlled the House, Green twice tried to get a vote on articles of impeachment against Trump. Both attempts were soundly rejected, with many Democrats joining Republicans in opposition. Pelosi previously said that a number of Trump's actions could be impeachable, but she has urged caution and patience while House committees continue their investigations. Quote, "We have 6 committees that are working on following the facts in terms of any abuse of power, obstruction of power, and the rest, and the president may have engaged in," Pelosi said on Wednesday before the House action. That is the serious path that we are on. And when she says the serious path, she goes, this is a bunch of crap. He sent tweets, for crying out loud. This is not impeachable, you oxygen thieves. Now, she didn't actually say that. I'm just adding some color. Wait, I can't say adding color. We're talking about women of color being racially tweeted at by the president. I can't say that. I take that back. I don't want to open any cans of worms there. Wait, I can't say that either. There's a connotation with cans of worms, I hear. Anyway, more than 70 Democrats have said that they support impeachment, but most of those discussions have focused on potential abuses of presidential power and findings in former special counsel Robert Mueller's report. And, of course, none of that materialized. So, again, the vote was 332 to 95. So 95 idiots are in Congress, which is less than we thought. But there are 95 people who still support impeachment. That was the breaking news there. I want to take you to France. We are from France. Because I want to tell you the nutso stuff that is happening in the world, okay? A Muslim man in France who killed a Jewish neighbor while screaming, and I know you'll be shocked to hear this, Allahu Akbar, okay, which is Protestant for I love Jesus. Allahu Akbar has been found not criminally responsible. Do you know why this Muslim guy who killed his Jewish neighbor while screaming Allahu Akbar is found not criminally responsible? Because the judge said he smoked marijuana beforehand, therefore it's not his fault. It's the marijuana. Marijuana makes you homicidal, John. So again, people in Indiana, get your guns, hide your wives, hide your kids, because everybody in Michigan who consumes marijuana is now going to become homicidal. Okay? 65-year-old Dr. Sarah Atal Halimi was brutally beaten and thrown out of a window by a 27-year-old, Kalibi Traore, an African migrant from Mali, on the 4th of April of 2017. According to reports, he's a drug dealer and a drug addict, and he shouted, "Shut your mouth, Allahu Akbar, I killed the demon." It's Shaitan, I think is what it's called. "I killed the demon," or Satan in Arabic. During the vicious assault, he claimed insanity and was held in a psychiatric hospital. Now, the judge has ruled that he's not criminally responsible for his actions because he had smoked marijuana beforehand. So it's not totally, it's not his fault. Whoa. That's some stuff right there. So a Muslim migrant who's a drug dealer and user kills their Jewish neighbor while calling her a demon, which is common with anti-Semitic rhetoric. And he nothing? Nothing at all, simply because he's not responsible for it. Holy moly. Wait till I tell you about Chris Pratt. Poor Chris Pratt tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. Thank you for watching the live stream. Again, trying to get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you go do that. And, oh yeah. Oops. Sorry, John. I forgot something. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
I was wondering what you were saying.
I can only babysit you so much.
I'll give them.
So
I'll give them. I will give them two tomorrow. I'm making a note. I'm making a note right now. Making a note right now.
You are a grown man.
I am making a note. I am making a note now. All right, 2 times.
I love how you look at me. Oops.
Well, I knew you were doing something over there, but I thought you were just
I was saying
jacking around with your phone. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Spot.
What's going on?
Oh, I won't forget.
What's going on? What's going on?
I won't forget.
All right. I'll give them to you tomorrow.
I got to record a commercial real quick. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Everybody wants me. I can't help it.
Backstage passes, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, here we go. And you're all going to learn my street name.
Ooh. He's got a street name.
I have a street name. I have... Oh, hang on. I got to get into Fox News first.
Mm-hmm.
Edison Road in Mishawaka.
Bump, 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 bump.
WTRC-FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Your top stories right
Across
now.
Michiana, you're taking a line.
Oh.
News yesterday after the vote to condemn the president over remarks and tweets about congresswomen of color.
Wrong button. Casey had me all flustered.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now it's my fault.
All right. Hey, it's DJ Z. Join me for the grand opening of MySpace Self-Storage on Friday from 4 until 6. We'll be broadcasting live. We'll have T-shirts on hand and mixer tickets as well. Come out to the MySpace Self-Storage on Western Avenue in South Bend, right next to Planet Fitness. We'll see you there on Friday. All right.
DJ Z?
DJ Z. It's like it could be DJ Z or DJ Z. See how it fits? It works.
What was the name that I told you should have when you first started over there?
Jay Zizzle.
Was that it?
It's DJ Z. Join me for the grand opening of MySpace Self-Storage on Friday from 4 until 6.
Oh, man.
We'll be broadcasting live. We have T-shirts.
There you go, Superfly. I posted your Area 51 bit in the live chat.
We'll have T-shirts on hand.
That was good. That was good.
Come out.
All right, let me finish the Daily Show prep. Hold on, folks.
Storage on Western Avenue in South Bend, right next to Planet Fitness. We'll see you there on Friday.
Oh, come on. Friggin' pop-ups are everywhere.
Now, here's Cardi B.
You should introduce her every time she comes on by telling everybody to make sure that they, I don't know, somehow protect themselves from getting roofied. Watch your drink. Don't let it out of your sight.
All right.
Hide your wallet.
I'm ready for your liner now. Are you ready?
Yeah, give me just a second.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just finishing my prep. Got to do the post for the people. I'm the people's champ, after all.
Woo!
All right. I'm ready.
Oh. Okay, Casey, let's do it to it.
Casey Hendrickson here. The most lovable actor, Chris Pratt, is catching fire from idiots, and we'll tell you why. Thursday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC. There you go.
Well, what's your street name?
Destro. Oy vey.
Pratt is catching fire from idiots.
First time I was recording some of those, and Joe was like, "Can you say that?" Yeah, of course. It wouldn't be fun listening to me if I didn't say that stuff.
That is true.
All right, today's Wednesday. My whole week is messed up. Like, I cannot keep my day straight. July 17th. Daily show prep. Featured image. What featured image do I want to go with today? Sky penis? No, I'm not going to do that one. No. Flat Earth? No. No flat Earth today. There we go. I'll do that.
Catching fire from idiots, and we'll tell you why. Thursday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC.
It's all about the NPCHA. Hold on, folks. I'll be in chat in just a second. Trying to get this.
What's Chris Pratt's politics? Do we even know?
Nope. We don't. We know that he's Christian. So he's automatically a bad guy.
Thursday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC.
Well, if he's Christian, you know what that means.
Mm-hmm. No, he had that really good speech for the Teen Choice Awards. We talked about how to poop in public. It was great. It was awesome. And yeah, he did some religious stuff with that.
But politically, he's never.
I don't think he's ever let his political stuff out, which is what you want.
Good for him.
Yeah, which is what you want.
That's why I like Chris Pratt.
Because of the shirt that he's wearing, he's catching flack, and there are people who are inferring his politics.
So stupid.
And it's like, oh, you got to be kidding
completely
me.
Dumb.
All right.
I am out of your hair.
Not really, John.
I'll be back to nag you tomorrow.
Oh no! I have to ask you something, and it's semi-serious. So let me end the stream real quick. All right, folks, I got to bounce because I do have to have a chit chat with him. And thank you so much for the support again. Please get people to subscribe. To my YouTube channel. That would be awesome. We're really pushing on YouTube. I want everybody to go on Twitch as well, but we're really focusing on YouTube right now and trying to get to that 2,000 mark and help the algorithm a little bit. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Thumbs up, everybody. And if you're on Twitch, follow, subscribe, all of that. We really do appreciate it. And you all have a wonderful night.